This is human, yes, bro. Human.
Did y'all see that white van that drove by and that little girl outside? And y'all wonder why I have my dogs off leash outside when my kids play. The mother seen that white van drive by and her motherly instincts kicked in. This white van was reversing to kidnap that little girl. That person didn't know mom was out there.
Oh, baby.
Oh my gosh, Dom's about to intercept.
To my channel, how you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scary and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Seek the truth.
Share a couple things with you that I just learned about money. The creator of the 10-hour fireplace YouTube video that was uploaded 9 years ago, and we've probably all put on our TV to pretend that we have fireplaces still, came out to the public and said that he has earned over $1 million from just uploading that one video. Jeff Bezos' biological father didn't even know that his son was a multi-billionaire until 2012. He worked at an Arizona bike shop, and a biographer came to find him and told him. These are the $100,000 bills that the U.S. released only for the Federal Reserve internal accounting between 1934 and 1935. They were never released to the public, and literally private ownership is illegal. An 81-year-old unmarried billionaire with no kids is getting ready to give his entire nearly $20 billion net worth to his 51-year-old gardener. The launch of Visa was actually a failure for multiple years, losing millions of dollars a year. But when Visa ended up becoming profitable, they did not release this information publicly in order to keep competition away.
Why does this man's eye look like a snake on live TV? Check this out, y'all.
Oh my god, it looks like a snake!
It's like it was an accident. Look at the eye.
It is true.
He looks like a lizard.
That's not a normal human eye.
It's
You
not.
know what they say? I don't think this is a glitch on TV. Oh, the left eye is normal and the right eye is slanted like a snake, like a reptilian. Stay weird.
Do you recall the gigantic animatronic robot that was being built in a guy's garage
Citra.
named Citra?
Yep.
The same animatronic robot that many claimed was not real at all. And you recall in some of the videos, the renditions of what Citra was to look like once completed. There were images all over social media of the legs, the arms, the feet, all sitting on the assembly table. And now it's actually been completed. And those that said we shouldn't worry, I think we should worry. Why? Because it's actually standing, moving, and listening to his commands. And here are a few images of it directly off of the video. As you can see, it is standing, and it is standing very tall. And as you recall from last year, we went from drawings to just parts of Citra to this thing is completely, fully complete. And you recall the statements that were made by the creator of Citra, that it's bulletproof, it's fireproof. There's nothing that can take it down. So the question should be asked, why did he build it in the first place? Well, many of you may think this is a little far-fetched, but just think about it.
Could be.
If this thing decides to up and take off and just disappear on its own, how would he explain that to everyone? And you also got to ask yourself the question, why do we have a Terminator-looking robot in the year 2026 that's indestructible? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Bad sign.
Oh, baby.
That's a tornado, bro.
Oh my gosh,
It's
Dom's about to intercept.
Well, they crazy, man. I'm out. Turn around, bro. That car's like blocking them. Yeah, don't go.
Heads up, it's coming around. Oh my
Oh, these some storm chasers, aren't they?
Oh my gosh.
Check it out, family. Look at this. Imagine you watching your child through the Ring cam and this motherfucker just pull up on your baby. I knew it was real at this moment. Had he startled and looked back like, the fuck is going on? But y'all let me know if this real or fake on Phonograde. Shit is crazy.
What the hell is that?
Did y'all see that white van that drove by and that little girl outside? And y'all wonder why I have my dogs off leash outside when my kids play. The mother seen that white van drive by and her motherly instincts kicked in.
Smart.
This white van was reversing to kidnap that little girl. That person didn't know mom was out there. Now as a father, I'm the #1 protector, but my dogs are a great deterrent. If this van drove by my house, he would not even stop.
Cook.
Now as a father, that van is not getting away from me. I don't care what it takes to get to that van, but it's not going to stop me, and this father's moving a little too slow for me. The fact that that van drove by and seen a little girl by herself and then decided to reverse tells you that all these people out there are willing to take your kids if you are not watching them. You have to pay attention to your children. There's people out there like this, and it's not just this guy. There's plenty of them out there. They're hiding in plain sight, looking for an opportunity.
That is so sad, man. You have to be on alert 24/7, bro. I saw that man who was rolling up and down the street. Probably wasn't expecting that nobody was there was watching on that kid, but luckily the mom was outside because who knows what could happen. Man, this world was crazy.
Uruk, spelled E-R-U-K, from the Epic of Gilgamesh, was a city that just happens to be where modern-day Iraq is. Uruk, Iraq? Interesting. Anyways, this is my driver, and I haven't read it, but I know about what the Clintons did in 2004. Apparently they unearthed Gilgamesh's giant body. Yeah, part of the Nephilim. Anyways, here we go.
Giant.
I'm down the rabbit hole and kooky. But it's okay, people take me seriously because of that. Like, that's all I got going for me.
This is human, yes, bro. Human.
Did you know 600,000 people go missing in America? And half of that is kids. And 8 million people go missing globally. And did you know McDonald's serves 96 million people daily? And when I ask people, do they know if their meat is human meat, they think I'm crazy.
They don't know.
Whatever.
No manches. Mira, un unicornio. ¿Están viendo?
Doesn't this lady look familiar? Yeah, her name is Erica Kirk, but not to be mistaken with Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk. No, this is an Erica Kirk from 1934. Yeah, I know, really weird, right? Because they have a striking resemblance. I mean, like, I know I'm not tweaking right now. Like, it's just very glaring. Now, there is speculation that she is like some type of time-traveling vampire, right? And with the eyes, with her just transforming on camera, like, I would not doubt it if they were the same person. Now, her husband name is Claude Kirk. And Erica's husband name was Charlie Kirk. Both of them were married to political activists. Political world, that's weird, right? I'm just telling y'all, bro, this is all a big script. This is all this is. Some big movie, some big TV show, whatever you want to call it. The world is a stage, and I get tired of saying that, bro. The world is a stage. Mind you, there's so many more things that are just completely identical between these two people. One of them, did I say one of them name is Madam X? Well, her name is Madam X, and this is obviously Miss Arizona. I don't know, y'all. This is, man.
Bro, you cannot tell me we are not living in a movie. So after 9 months stranded in space, the two astronauts, Sonny and Butch, they touch down to Earth in a scene so goddamn beautiful, it looks AI generated. You can see boats racing to them in the distance, and then SpaceX, hits them with the coldest line that they've been waiting 286 days to hear.
Butch, Sunny, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
Oh, and just when you think it couldn't get any cooler, they are welcomed by a pod of dolphins. What is this? Now keep in mind, they haven't felt gravity in like nearly a year, and you can lose about a third of muscle mass in just 2 weeks. So, when they actually touched down, they needed help standing up again, and they were even given these rolling chairs so that their bodies can begin readjusting. Sunny broke the world record for the most spacewalking for a female astronaut. Oh, and apparently, they won't be paid overtime for the trip, which was only supposed to last about a week. According to their website, NASA astronauts make about $152K. Nice, 6 figures, but according to a former astronaut, Katie Coleman, they won't qualify for the months of overtime. Instead, Coleman said that they will be paid on the same basis as a federal employee on an extended business trip, which are compensated for a handful of incidentals. Please tell me that can't be true.
No overtime, bro? And he was in space for the extra 9 months, bro. And the reason I brought up that clip is because I heard it recently that it's only one of those astronauts that was up in the space for the extended time, didn't they retired. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm in space, bro. No overtime. I mean, they still getting, I guess, paid. You know, like it's a good salary, but nah, bro. That's extra money they left on the table, man. They wasn't trying to pay that overtime. Could you guys do that, man? Stay in space for 9 months? Couldn't be me.
Discuss cheese with rats, talk bread with birds, or make moves with snakes. And that's just life advice at this point. Because everybody don't think the same. Everybody don't want the same outcome. Everybody don't need access to your ideas. Rats hear opportunity and think about taking it. Birds hear opportunity and think about building more. Snakes hear opportunity and think about how to move around you. So you got to pay attention to who you're talking to.
Facts.
Some people only hear what benefits them. Some people actually think long term. Some people smile and listen just to report back or move funny later. That's why discernment matters. Not everybody deserves access to know your plans. Not everybody needs to be in a conversation. Not everybody is on your side just because they're close. You don't explain vision to people who think small. You don't share progress with people who compete. You don't plan moves with people who don't move clean. Talk to the right people about the right things. And sometimes the smartest move is keeping your mouth closed until the results can speak for you.
That ass part, man, hit me to my core, bro. Yeah, the seekers is really the only people I can vent to, man. Like as you said, sometimes, man, it's just best to keep your mouth shut and just wait until the results speak for themselves, man. That's the journey I'm on, bro.
This happens, human life will never be the same again. Elon Musk just said something at the World Economic Forum that should have everybody like, bro, what? Look at this video.
My prediction is that there'll be more robots than people. So, how do you then?
He's saying in the future he think there will be more robots than humans.
Come again?
That's wow, y'all. I can give you so many reasons on why that will be bad. But I don't need to. You can understand yourself how bad it is.
iRobot.
For instance, we don't always go off movies, but like I said, they always pick a lot of things in movies. Just go back to iRobot, fool. And y'all see what happened there. Look at the Terminator. You see what happened there. We already know robots is going to be stronger, smarter, everything more than a human. So if they gain the capability to think and do whatever they want for themselves, nigga, we're going to be the ones getting slaughtered.
Loch Ness Monster.
0.1 second, 0.5 second, 1 second,
whoa,
3 second,
damn,
5 second,
no way, man,
30 second,
and we eating that. mahogany, bro. It's indestructible. No reaction to the fire whatsoever. What did they make Oreos with?
Hey, they are here. They are everywhere. How do you not understand? They give off a low vibrational frequency. Y'all falling right into their traps and snares. The best way to hide something is in plain sight so everyone can see. In plain sight. Guess where our children is going? Guess where they're going? They're going right here. And they're having a feast. They not missing for no reason. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? They are programming you to accept the things to come. It's called predictive programming. Let me show you what that means. Hey, this is deep, so listen up. Predictive programming is the practice of a government and other higher authorities that use feature films and books to increase public acceptance of planned future events. A popular conspiracy is the idea of using government predictive programming to manipulate citizens and enable them to predict what they want to do in the future. Y'all seeing this? Sometimes the intended purpose of predictive programming is not to plan for some major social change, such as an establishment of an totalitarian government, but to control the impact of a particular event. Wow. That's exactly what it is. Y'all better quit playing out here because this ain't no damn joke. Project Bluebeam is on the rise. I repeat, Project Bluebeam is on the rise. Guess what movie they about to drop? They about to put it right in your face and you about to accept it. Let me show you.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today is...
What?
Today's...
Hell?
What is it?
You won't believe me if I told you.
Have you guys seen Wall Friction? I just saw this yesterday. It's driving me nuts! Did you do it? Yeah, and I can't do it! Oh, man. I don't know if it's real then. Tell me about it. They literally slide stuff on the walls and it sticks. Static? Yeah, I mean, I looked it up and part of it could be static. But they're doing like pencils and pens. There's these kids in like the Philippines or something. It's like a classroom and they're just sticking everything on the walls. And they literally put a full desk up there with someone sitting on the desk. Look at this. How is that possible? Come on. You know who started this rumor? Painters. They're like, scratch your walls so we can come over and paint. Sherman Williams is behind this. That's the conspiracy. I can't figure it out. We got to try it in the office. Yeah. Because I think it's a different type of wall, too. But in the Philippines, they got something different there. They got that static. It's just lead. So it's just yeah. I got to figure it out. Picking me up and shoving it.
You live anywhere in the southern region of the United States, then you need to hear this. We're about to get hit with a polar vortex that might affect over 200 million people. They're saying that Winter Storm Fern is expected to bring at least 20 inches of snow to the eastern part of the United States. They're saying that there will be single-digit temperatures in Texas, -13 in Oklahoma, -16 in Tulsa, -16 in St. Louis. They are even saying that it can get close to -50 degrees in Minnesota. Do you know what that means? For one, they're saying that we may lose power. They are labeling this the deep freeze. They're saying that this can be the coldest January that we ever experienced in our life. Again, this is going to be the biggest polar vortex to hit the United States in years. And let's just keep it real. Right now in New York, if you are in New York, it is freezing cold in New York. They are planning for major disruption. So we have to expect flights to be delayed and canceled. Again, meteorologists are saying prepare. They're saying get food together just in case that power goes out. Just in case you can't go anywhere because it's so cold. Whatever they're doing up there, they need to stop. Pay attention.
Manipulating the weather.
So we'll do a part 4 here. And if you notice, actually I've done 3 other parts to, this is an extension of the first 3, but it's about 10 o'clock at night. And I'm getting ready to leave for the day. And this beast, if you notice, only the internal smaller devices are turned on. You see the green lights? And I've showed you in the past that it's not on during the day. It only comes on about, it starts to wake up at about 5 in the evening.
Why is that?
And if you notice, these guys here, see on the outside, right? The big ones, the long ones there, right? The smaller internal ones are on right now. And the smaller internal ones, those are to disrupt your health. Okay? You don't have to believe it, but those of us that know. This is
The lights are on, yeah, and the small ones we can see right here, but not under these big ones. So that's what's under those towers. And he says not a cell phone tower. I gotta check if I have a tower around me like that. That's interesting.
for you retards that don't know. The outer ones, the outer boxes, the large rectangles there, they are not turned on, and that is because today was not a heavy spray day here in Southern California. We didn't get bombarded with chemtrails all day. So when we're bombarded with chemtrails and they're trying to manipulate the weather, those outside larger rectangular boxes are also turned on. Happy New Year.
Those are drones? Are they shooting? Oh yeah, you're cooking.
Catch me on Epstein's Island.
What?
Epstein's Island.
What's that?
You didn't hear about Epstein's Island? No? You don't want to catch me there?
I mean, I wouldn't like to know what it is before.
So, me and my brother, we was basically brought up on Epstein's Island. And that's why we have so much wealth, because we literally, like no cap, I'm being for real. And that's where the whole island thing came on.
Okay.
So I always tell girls, you feel me, like if they want to like see something different they ain't never seen before in their whole entire life, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I saw you want to catch me on Epstein Island? Because you know what I'm saying? You don't really.
They'll tell you yes.
Yeah.
And what's the process of that?
So basically, I pick you up in a private jet. You
Epstein's Island?
Be breathing. They're literally feeding us anything.
Watch this, y'all.
They should not be doing that.
Wait, is that it making a noise?
Should not be moving like that.
Something inside that water battle, bro.
They are literally trying to get rid of us, and the evidence is in the food. Stay weird.
Let me tell you about some interesting things I learned today. When you get electrocuted, it's not the electricity that throws you across the room, it's just the force of your muscles contracting, which means that we are strong enough to instantly throw ourselves across the room. There was a man who sued Pepsi after finding a mouse in his Mountain Dew. The worst part of this is the attorneys claimed that the Mountain Dew would dissolve a mouse in 30 days, and they showed proof that the Mountain Dew was purchased almost 90 days after it was manufactured. I don't know how to feel about that. Apparently in a 5-digit zip code, the first number is your national area, the second number is your state, the third number is your sectional center or PO, the fourth and fifth numbers are small post offices or zones. I didn't realize there was that much of a structure to it, to be honest. This is a magnified photo of human skin after it's poked by a needle. I already hate needles, so this just doesn't make it better. About 95% of all spiders in our homes either were born in our homes or adapted to life in our homes, and if you take the spider outside, they will likely not survive. That's kind of sad, but also just don't show yourself in my house and you'll be safe. The word stress is just desserts spelled backwards. Those two things being related checks out.
Bruh, the sea golly, yeah, the one straight out of the Bible, just turned red and nobody knows why. Now what they're saying is this is just from the algae, but I don't think so, y'all. This should look like something out of the 10 plagues. Am I tripping? Don't it look like that? That shit look crazy, fool. They said this shit went from blue to red overnight. Now you tell me, how does something go from blue to red that quick, like in an instant? Boom. You already know, you got the scientists saying, look, y'all, this is nothing to be worried about, nothing to be alarmed about. But when they say that, I feel like that's when you should be alarmed or worried. Well, I know when they tell us everything's gonna be fine, that's when you should start worrying. This shit look like the now, the stories your grandma used to tell you and shit. Y'all remember them stories? Them Jones that used to have you nervous? And with everything going on in that part of the world right now, this shit just feels too planned. It feels too perfect. That shit is crazy. Maybe it's nature, or maybe it's just a sign, or maybe it's just a sign we're not ready to see.
Hurts my. Is that nature? Or is it something else, man? Some weird things happening in the world.
My brain. 8 babies have just been born in the UK from 3 parents. And to make your brain hurt too, it's from 2 mothers. But what's even cooler than being able to be more progressive than your most blue-haired friend is that having 3 parents can prevent several life-threatening hereditary conditions. In fact, it's kind of the whole point. Scientists in Newcastle combined DNA from 3 people. The egg from a mother, the sperm from a father, and then a second egg from, I guess, the other mother. And what this method does is that it allows mitochondria, which may carry genetic disorders from the original parents, to be replaced with healthy mitochondria from the donor, aka your other mother. And while this science, known as 3-person IVF, isn't necessarily new, this is the first time we've seen a successful birth of babies from this method in the UK. And I'm glad to report the 8 newborn children are healthy and showing no signs of mitochondrial disease. And don't worry, they're not gonna have to grow up explaining to their friends what a throuple is, because more than 99.9% of the child's DNA comes from their 2 parents, and only a tiny fraction coming from the donor. Still pretty damn cool though.
I've been seeing a lot of talk about Hurricane Katrina lately, and that's great. I'm glad that we're finally talking about what actually happened there. But something that I never hear anyone mention when talking about Katrina is this guy right here, because he is a true hero that never gets recognition. It had been 2 days since Hurricane Katrina had devastated the city of New Orleans. The amount of people that were in need of rescue after the hurricane hit was astronomical. As we know, the Superdome was being opened up as a shelter for displaced residents, but they actually had such an overflow of people that now had no homes to return to that the Astrodome, all the way in Houston, Texas, began opening its doors to house people. As you may have already heard in documentaries about Katrina, helicopters and boats, all of the recovery efforts in the first few days of flooding were going right on past the predominantly black neighborhoods in New Orleans. People were stuck sleeping on their roofs and in their attics with no food, no water, no electricity, with their children in tow and all. And most of them had no option. They relied on public transportation and didn't have a vehicle to leave even if they wanted to evacuate. So this man, 20-year-old Jabbar Gibson, began to formulate a plan to get out. He had been stuck inside of his complex for 2 days with no food or water and began to hear reports that neighboring areas were being swallowed whole by floodwaters. He went searching for a way out and came across a barn with a bunch of abandoned school buses inside. Now, Jabbar didn't even have his license to drive, but he knew what he needed to do. So he drove the Orleans Parish school bus back to his complex and loaded up as many people as possible onto it. What's crazy is that even though he was doing the right thing, police still showed up, made everyone get off the bus, and told Jabbar to hand over the keys. Thankfully, Jabbar's mother was able to convince officers that now is not the right time. Don't you guys have better things to be doing? And from there, Jabbar transported 70 people, 13 hours to the Houston Astrodome, and his bus was the first to arrive.
He was giving a lecture to his class when this happens. A college professor from Argentina was preparing to give his new class a lecture. But while he was recording a video, he noticed something strange happening in the background.
Hola, ¿cómo les va? Hoy vamos a hablar de niveles de conocimiento. Bien, hay 4 niveles de conocimiento. El primer nivel es la ignorancia, el segundo nivel es la estupidez, el tercer nivel es la inteligencia y el cuarto nivel es la sabiduría. ¿Qué se diferencia cada uno de estos 4 niveles? Vamos a charlar ahora para después cada uno de nosotros ver en qué nivel estamos.
Turn back at him?
El primer nivel es el nivel de la ignorancia. En este nivel, la persona no tiene los recursos necesarios para lidiar con el desafío que se le propone.
As he's recording, his reflection in the background turns around and stares into the camera, as if it has a mind of its own. The professor explains he doesn't believe in the paranormal, but he has no way of explaining what he just captured on video. Tell me what you think.
I am obsessed. Oh my goodness. Did you know that whenever they had the little alien from Men in Black that's in the head, it is actually this big? Like, yeah, sure, that's kind of creepy and all, but like, I'm obsessed with Men in Black, one of my favorite movies of all time, and I never knew this. Like, they had a small version for like the faraway shots and everything, but then they had the big version because, you know, they had to actually make the alien articulate, and it's an animatronic. There's a video at the end if you want to check that out. Here's what it looks like in the actual movie. You can see like the face is taken off and then little alien bro is in there, which, by the way, that face is a mood. Like, bro is done with life. They named this little alien Chucky. Like, they named the animatronic Chucky, and it's just so freaking cute. I'm obsessed with aliens. I don't know why. I've just always been obsessed with them. I had a little doll named Blix that I carried around as a child, and that was like my alien baby doll. And like, they couldn't make the actual mouth lip sync the words when it was like small because it was like the size of a pencil. Like, so they had to have it big to actually make the alien, you know, look like it's actual moving its facial features. Watch this video and let me know what you're thinking. The first one is going to be the one that's small and you'll see the difference. And then the second one is the big one. This is so cool.
I never knew that. Men in Black, man. That's dedication to the craft, bro. Nowadays, you know, it would have just been CG.
So that thunderstorm that just happened in Nebraska, there's no way you can convince me that this right here is not no galactical war. Then they talking about we supposed to be having aliens supposed to be here in 2 weeks, and we having storms like this?
Hey guys, this is not time-lapse, you know, manipulated video. This is actually live right now. The camera every once in a while moving around too, but that is a lot of lightning.
So you gonna tell me that this is not some kind of spiritual war that's going on right now? Like Darth Vader and Master Yoda is not having a bump down session. It's either that or the sky is literally malfunctioning. Never in my 20 years have I seen this much thunder in one storm. And then a few hours later, that same storm flooded Milwaukee. Whoa. There's nothing nobody can tell me that could convince me that that was not some type of war that was going on. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts and what y'all think about this crazy storm in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. Y'all think this was some type of spiritual war? A crazy storm? Or the Matrix glitching? I don't know, but things getting strange.
There's a theory that Garth Brooks isn't just a country legend, but he's a serial killer secretly hiding in plain sight. This all started when comedian Tom Segura started pointing out something strange. A disturbing amount of people have gone missing in cities where what you believe, and follow for more.
What do you think, Seekers?
2025. You know, these guys have successfully predicted quite a lot of ridiculous things, and there's some crazy ones for 2025 you probably don't even want to know, to be honest with you. There was this prediction years and years ago about an Iron Dome over America, and now recently it is pretty much definitely happening, known as the Golden Dome. It's been speculated a lot that AI is going to take over and robots, but apparently they predicted it would happen in 2025 and 2026. With AI systems and chatbots getting so advanced that they will take over, give false information, and basically ruin the world, which, yeah, kind of see that happening. There was apparently an episode that broadcast in the early 2000s showing a Trump 2024 sign and also showing that he won that year, although I'm not sure about that one, I can find that officially. The Simpsons movie from 2007 predicted that there would be an economical crisis in 2025 and also a natural disaster. You know what's been going on in the economy recently, and we also had this last week, which was insane.
Matching
but
up.
by far the scariest bit is the ones that haven't come true yet, such as a zombie apocalypse coming out of China, apparently. Mate, please no.
What do you guys think, man, about those Simpson theories, man? Because, like I said, when it comes to the Simpsons, bro, they be calling it in some earlier episodes. I don't know how they can do that prediction like that, but they be on the money, so we always got to pay attention to that, man.
Some of the creepiest videos on the internet, part 10. The popular American rapper XXXTentacion was murdered on June 18th, 2018, and his death broke the hearts of many. Many people visited his memorial to leave gifts, but some people captured much more. The YouTube channel The Fam recorded a video trying to communicate with this beloved rapper, but accidentally captured this. But someone else got a lot more than this. The YouTube channel Selva the Explorer got to speak with him through her spirit box. Here's some things he had to say.
What is your favorite song that you ever recorded? What's the name of your favorite song? Are you in the white bike? Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not.
That was just hard to watch. I mean, it's incredibly obvious that Pam Bondi was caught in a lie right there, and she really didn't know how to react. I mean, she even deflected to her buddy Trump, looked over at him, not knowing exactly what to say to respond to that reporter's question. And if you look at the comment section on social media platforms where that video was posted, there are tons of individuals who work with security cameras all the time commenting that what she said is just not true. Now, I already said days ago that I don't even believe the footage, regardless of the minute missing. I think that might be some sort of a distraction. We're talking about the United States government. Just think of how advanced their CGI or AI capabilities are. I mean, it would take no effort to edit an old, grainy clip of a hallway and cut somebody or something out of it. But I want you to think of it a little bit differently. Even if Epstein, that's something that I don't really see people talking about too often. And I can't believe that anybody thought that this clown would ever tell the truth while in office.
It's about Nickelodeon. What? The main guy was kind of weird, and he did weird stuff, but a lot of people wouldn't notice. Yeah. So the green slime. Every award show, the winners would get poured slime on them. Yeah, when they that's like a big thing. This is not my theory. This is their theory. They made it the green screen green so they can make it change the color. Another color, and guess what color that would be on all your favorite kid artists. That's actually crazy. And the crazy thing is, I'm like, yo, this Loki might not even be a reach. All the backstory that I know about the Nickelodeon guy, he was very like...
Come on! Give up the juice!
What's she doing?
Oh, yeah. Check this out! Yes! 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 No, I don't want to see that thing again. Put it away!
You do it way more gentle than my mom does it.
That is so not tight, but it hurts!
I heard you swallow.
You're holding your banana backwards! Is it my turn to squat?
Dan Schneider. Man, like, yo, they could have made it orange. Why isn't it orange? That's Nickelodeon's main color. Yeah, you're right, though. And it's green screen green. It's not no, like, regular Minecraft green. Yeah, like, when they had the award shows, that's when they started making it. When they started. That's crazy. Damn. That's dirt, though. That's dirty, fam. That's, like, messed up in the head, fam. Super. Why do you think? Are they just sick like that? Yeah, probably. Oh, bruh.
Bacon avocado.
We know, man, that's like when he got exposed, bro, so... Man, when you were a kid, you just don't pick up on that. I didn't even think about that until now. And that's green. Yeah, you could change that color into anything, the edits. So I'm like, why was it that color? Why was it green? All those scenes of Victorious Nightcrawler, you didn't pick up on until now. So
the government's been secretly building an underground city using $21 trillion of taxpayer money, built from 1998 until 2015, as revealed by former Bush official Catherine Austin Fitts, who admitted they've constructed a luxury city under the United States to shelter the elite and powerful in case of a mass extinction event. It's also being used for secret government projects and space technology programs. Parts of the city are even beneath the ocean and are complete with schools, hospitals, and jails, as well as state-of-the-art advanced transportation networks, likely powered by secret military energy systems like UAP technology. There are at least 170 of these underground facilities under U.S. soil, but she suspects there are many more around the world, funded by unsupported adjustments in the U.S. Army spending budget, which were secretly funneled into this project, which can actually be confirmed by a 2017 report by economist Mark Skidmore that found $21 trillion in unauthorized government spending. Kinda sounds like they know something that we don't, but On Sourdough is pretty good.
This might make you think twice before opening the door for strangers. The owner of this home was murdered after allowing these two men dressed up as DTE workers enter his home. Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo knocked on the 72-year-old couple's door in Rochester Hills and did the unthinkable. And it was all caught on camera when on the night of October 10th, Carlos is seen ringing the doorbell of the couple's home and telling them that he was a worker from DTE and was there to check a gas leak. The 72-year-old homeowner Hussein Murray told them to come back tomorrow because it was already too late. And that's exactly what these two men did. However, when they arrived the next morning, they took his life. Hussein led the two men to the basement where the furnace was, and that's when they attacked him and took his life. Hussein's wife Linda was upstairs when all of this was going on, and she said she didn't hear anything. When the two men went back upstairs after 10 to 15 minutes, she asked them, "Where's my husband?" And that's when they beat her and tied her wrists and ankles together. Hussein and his wife had a pretty well-known jewelry store in the city, and it seems like these two men targeted them because of that. And it turns out that they didn't even steal anything, because when they asked Linda where the money and jewelry was, she told them that they didn't keep it in the house. The two men were eventually caught and were charged with Hussein Murray's murder.
Be careful out there.
Mississippi shot a woman because she refused to have sex with him. Now, this is a direct quote from the prosecutors. It said the 70-year-old man shot the woman in the leg after she refused to get naked and have sex with him. Now, he was home with his son. His son tried to disarm the father. However, the guy shot at his son too. Thankfully, the woman lived, and thankfully, the son didn't die from his father shooting at him. How down bad do you have to be to shoot at a woman and then your son right after that, just because the woman doesn't want to do it with you? That's crazy. Now, he got sentenced to 30 years in prison. At this age, it's basically a life sentence. You know, he's going to spend his life behind bars, probably die in jail. Now, I saw this post on Facebook, and Facebook is a wild place because all the comments were saying how this guy is going to have a lot of what he was looking for in jail. The police said they took this crime very, very seriously because it was such a violent crime. You know, like he held a woman at gunpoint and then shot at his son when the son tried to help the woman. He tried to disarm his father too in the process. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys.
This aunt sued her nephew after they won the $1.2 million jackpot. Barb and Tyrone both had their names on the winning ticket, so they split the $1.2 million right in half. Barb said that although Tyrone bought the ticket for her, she never told him that she would split the jackpot with him. She then took Tyrone to court where she was rewarded $850,000, and Tyrone took the remaining $350,000. What do you guys think? Is this fair? Here's the
Would you take your own family to court over a lottery ticket, man? Did it really have to go there for your family? I couldn't work something out that had to be done in court. Man, money will drive a wedge between anybody, bro.
3 most illegal dog breeds, and trust me, you're gonna be shocked. The American Pit Bull Terrier is said to be one of the most masculine dogs, and they're known for always winning fights. They're now illegal to own in Canada, in Florida, and a bunch of other countries across the globe. The Japanese Tosa Inu is known to fight silently, meaning that when it's in combat, it doesn't even bark. It is now illegal to own in Denmark, Malta, and Norway. And finally, the Neapolitan Mastiff. This dog was actually used as a gladiator dog in the Roman Colosseum, and it's now illegal to own in the country of Singapore. Now let me know, would you want one of these dogs?
Male T app just had a massive data breach. So this app called T on Her was a rival app to the T app that was meant for men to talk about women. Now this app had you show your ID or selfie to show that you were indeed a male, and that was how you were accepted onto the app. Well, as it turns out, the T on Her app had the same exact security flaw as the original T app, and now everybody's data on there has been leaked. At the time of this breach, the T on Her app had over 50,000 users, so if you happen to be one of those, then your data was breached.
I want to ask the question, what do you think is the fastest man-made object ever made in history?
A bullet.
I'll guess a satellite. So, this is gonna blow your mind. Okay. So, the fastest man-made object in the world, and it's also the first man-made object to ever enter space. We sent something to space before Sputnik. Is something that we've made that goes 150,000 miles per hour. But I guarantee you've never heard of it because it's a manhole cover.
What?
Huh? A sewer manhole cover. is the fastest man-made object to ever exist, and it's circling around in space, and here's how it happened. So in 1957, they're doing a ton of nuclear testing, right? And they did one where they dug this tunnel that was 3 feet wide and about 400 feet deep, right? So they're gonna blow this nuclear bomb. But on top of this tube, they have just a manhole cover.
That's shot into space?
This thing shoots up into space at 150,000 miles per hour and is still to this day circling in space somewhere. It's the fastest man-made object that ever exists.
Legend says it's just past Saturn.
Yeah, for real.
I think young people need to drink more. I don't see drunkenness, I see togetherness.
Drink more alcohol.
Yeah, drink more. I think they need to get out and drink more. My advice to young people is to go out and drink more and make a series of bad decisions that might pay off. I think that we need more togetherness, more people, more sex, and more random encounters. And absolutely, people need to be in the company of strangers more and more. And I think young men are sequestering. We're turning into a different species of socially isolated, lonely people who become shitty citizens. And when women don't have a romantic relationship, they reinvest in work and their friends. When men don't have a relationship, they tend to just go down a rabbit hole.
Well, if you're a stalker and you like to stalk other people's pages, you are not gonna like this. Instagram just did an update, and on their update, they added a map feature. You heard what I said, a map feature. Here, take a look at it. Read it for yourself. A new map feature, allowing you to track and share locations with others, which basically means if you like to stalk people's pages or you're having some kind of internet thing with someone you're not supposed to, you're about to get caught. Here's just an example of what I'm talking about. You see right above right there under the map, nearby. It shows you exactly where people are, so you can kind of communicate with those in your circle or in your neighborhood. Here's just another example of what I'm talking about.
It's dangerous.
For example, all these little dots on the map are either people that I'm following or people that are following me. And when they post, it shows their exact location. Hence the part where I said, some people on this app are now going to get themselves in a lot of trouble. So my suggestion to all is just turn the feature off, because this gets even more crazier, because if you actually zoom in really close on the person's image, it gives you the pinpoint exact location as to where they are. So I guess my question to you is, will you be turning it off, or will you be snooping around to see if people say they are where they are when they tell you they're going to be going someplace? Or are you just going to turn it off and just continue to use the app the way you have been? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always,
Dad, she must have been out of her head.
Hi, my name is Ethan, and we'll be talking about disturbing facts so sinister I stopped sleeping.
Okay.
Number 1, since the 1980s, there's been estimated over 220,000 unsolved serial killers in the United States. Number 2, when Disney first opened the new Pirates of the Caribbean ride in the 1960s, for props, they used real human skeleton remains. They claimed that the real ones were so much better than the props that they had. Eventually, they filtered them out and got fake ones. Number 3, Mount Everest is not only the highest viewpoint in the world, but it's also the highest graveyard. It's estimated that there are over 150 bodies buried in the snow.
Disturbing facts you wish you never knew. You have tiny skin mites that come out at night and do the thing on your face. A 10-second kiss on the lips can pass on 80 million bacteria, some unknown to scientists. Good thing you don't have to worry about that. Certain kinds of tuna called teratoma can cause your body to grow teeth and hair around it. When Eskimo babies have colds, their mother sucks the snot out of their nose with their mouth. Yummy. People who stay up at night are more likely to become psychopaths compared to those who sleep early. So please go to sleep now.
First of all, the fact that he just called Thank you what he said, bro. He just had to call y'all ain't have no feet. Y'all got a girl right there, bro. And the fact that they said the mom sucks the snot out of the nose, the kid nose. That's like the completely different level. I never knew that was happening, man. The more you know.
Disturbing facts about Disney that will leave you shocked. 18-year-old actress who voiced Snow White was paid less than $1,000 to do it. She also was not credited. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland used real skulls in its set design when it first opened. Actress who played Lilo in Lilo and Stitch also played Samara in The Ring. Part of your world was almost cut from The Little Mermaid because the chair of Walt Disney Studios was afraid that kids would think that the song was boring. Thon from Beauty and the Beast in the 1995 version was the first male villain in any Disney princess movie. After Finding Nemo came out, there was a problem with kids around the world flushing their fish down the toilet so that they could go back to the ocean. The music on the It's a Small World ride never, ever turns off. Follow for more facts.
Why doesn't it turn off,
But
bro?
what exactly is going on here? Why are these artists so comfortable with telling you guys that you're going to hell?
So let me explain something real quick. Before everybody starts screaming and saying, oh, like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers enter the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it. I'm so sorry. You can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song a billion times and you didn't even know.
And then say you're still going to listen to their music anyway, so why even bring it up?
We bring up when people say like devil worshiper or anything, like how's the music? Because it'll be a mother gonna be like, Boosie, get with God. And then I'll drop a song and like, damn.
Comment amen right now to ward off any evil spirits coming from these videos. And what's up with everybody doing this hand symbol? Like, this was never a trend. I never saw any of my friends doing this pose. What does it mean, and what are you trying to say? And I don't want to hear this just a pose. It's not like the peace sign. And check this out.
I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? I had nightmares for a month.
So let me get this straight. You really need to call upon the devil in order to help you act better for a role. Again, we can't act oblivious like something weird isn't going on here. But let me know, am I tripping? Am I crazy? And make sure to follow because part 2 is about to get a lot more crazy.
NASA have just announced the discovery of an Earth-sized planet that they say could be habitable. It's called TOI 700e, fucking great name. It's 95% of Earth size, likely rocky, and it falls within what they call the Goldilocks habitable zone. This is apparently where the distance between the planet and the star that it orbits is at a perfect point that can sustain liquid water, meaning that the conditions could be just right for life to exist. So the question is this just overhyped, or is 2023 about to get
4 of the most horrifying things we've ever found on beaches. Number 1, a sack containing 54 severed human hands. I don't really know, I don't have words to describe how horrifying this is, and I could not imagine just, finding a bag on the beach and opening it up and be like, oh, look, human hands, but this happened in Siberia. Number 2, famine victims. Basically a bunch of human bones washed up onto a beach, and they were actually from something called a coffin ship, which were a bunch of ships that kind of left Ireland during the potato famine where everyone was starving to death and dying, and we found some human bones on a beach. Number 3, a dead sperm whale filled with plastic. Now that might not sound horrifying, but if you think about it, there's so much plastic in the ocean that it took down the largest toothed predator currently on our planet. That is horrifying that it is that present in our ocean and that deadly. For the Montauk Monster, people hypothesize that this deformed-looking creature was everything from a chupacabra to the missing link, but basically it's just a really deformed raccoon. As horrifying as that, looks, it's just literally a trash bin.
Man. I think the first one for that's a chilling story, bro. 54 human hands. Just imagine you just walking one day on the beach, bro, with your family, man. A bag washes up, you open it, it's full of human hands. How would you guys act? I mean, that much plastic in the water there, yeah, it took down the whole whale.
Disturbing facts you didn't want to hear, part 2. Many doctors say that the most common last words they hear are, I don't feel so good. Most laugh tracks you hear in TV shows were recorded in the 1950s, meaning that the people you hear laughing are probably dead. During the French Revolution, it was said that the guillotine had to be used multiple times to get the job done. The reason that planes shut off their lights right before they land is so that passengers' eyes can adjust to the dark just in case there's a crash. This is so if the power goes out during the crash landing, they can better find an escape route.
Whatever you do,
The more you know.
answer this phone call. This is John Pork. Now, he's supposedly a CGI-generated influencer with an unsettling appearance. He seems to be half man, half swine. The creature posts videos of himself dancing and traveling around the world to popular tourist locations. But this is where things get scary. You see, John used to call everybody, but nobody would answer, before he was sadly unalive. Yeah, John is no longer with us. He had went out for a night of fun, and tragically was unalived. After this, people have been getting strange calls from a haunting contact that says John Pork. And if you answer, this is what happens. Before I tell you, I know this food look good, I'm sorry. I can't share. But here's what we're gonna do. Your fourth act has to make or buy you food for the rest of this month, since I made you suffer. Let me know who it is. Supposedly, if you answer the call of John Pork, you'll summon him from the dead, and at midnight, he'll appear.
I got called by John
These are
Pork?
facts
I
that will
have
make
it.
your skin crawl, part 1. Up first, did you know that women can actually give birth after death? It's extremely rare, but it's called coffin birth. Up next, everybody has definitely heard of the 5-second rule and probably applied it in your life at least once. But did you know in those 5 seconds, minor insects can still crawl on your food after you drop it on the floor, pick it up, and then eat it? Up next, if a black cat looks at you and then suddenly runs away, it means that something unusual is about to happen to you. So if this happened to you recently, then I recommend just staying in your room and not leaving. Finally, did you know that a cockroach can live 9 days without its head before it starves to death? This is absolutely crazy, and as weird as this sounds, I have to see it to believe it.
Me too, 9 days. The story to him.
Truth Through Media Part 4. At the end of the Men in Black movie, they zoom out to show the viewers the immense size of the universe, and then show our universe within a marble, and a being throwing this marble, and then picking up our marble with our universe in it, and putting it in a bag full of other marbles. This was not by accident. Now, don't forget that scientists around the world are now disclosing, including NASA, that the universe is a living being and they're working to understand it. So really, we are small, puny creatures living inside or on a giant creature. Just like the cells in our body, how they have lives of their own, including the bacteria and viruses within us, we're the same in a way. But this is what I mean by science is working to understand it, because even people that channel extraterrestrials say that they don't even fully understand the life of this grand being. I think this is so cool because it doesn't just say that we live in a giant being, but that everything small is just a small version of something big. Now y'all see why I'm a nerd, right? This is me thinking. Really, we don't fully understand what this greater being is and how it lives and why we live within inside of it. All we know is that it exists.
Here are 3
That's
board games that
crazy
will
to think
actually
about.
terrify you, with number 1 being the scariest of the 3 games. At number 3, we have The Pony Factory. A machine from hell turns people into disgusting abominations that resemble horses. You have a nail gun and you have to take them out, but here's the catch. The game is dark and you can only either hold your flashlight or your gun at a time. Number 2 is The Prototype. You have to test a children's robotic toy and things start to go wrong. As you play, more of the story is revealed, and this is the part of the game that's actually scary. I won't spoil the story here, but I have a full playthrough of this game on my channel if you're interested. And at number 1, we have Slide in the Woods. Man, this game. You're in a park and you slide down the slide over and over again. But then the more times you go down the slide, the more things start to change in the world around you. Like at first it was daytime, and then all of a sudden it's night. And then once when you slide down, everything changes and it is terrifying. This game is free. Please try it out for yourself and go in blind.
Got China's Game Seekers. Whoa, what the hell? Pictures that have different meanings.
Fun facts until the Orbeez overflow. If there was a zombie apocalypse, we'd be outnumbered 15-1. There was a chicken named Mike that lived for 18 months with no head. Yellowstone volcano would cover almost the entire country if it erupted, and it's well overdue. There's a brain-eating organism known as Naegleria fowleri that lives in lakes and rivers in southern United States. Only one man survived the electric chair, and he said death tastes like peanut butter. Ladybugs eat half their larva to ensure the survival of the other half, like a natural Thanos. And it looks like I'm out of time. Follow for more fun facts.
Tap in, you're gonna learn with us, man.
So I found these
Blow your
conspiracy
mind.
theories that are so believable, they actually might be true.
Talk
Number
about it.
one, studies show that cats understand human commands but don't care to follow them. Yeah, I don't like cats. I'm a dog kind of guy. Number two, it is believed that when you die in a dream, you wake up because your brain doesn't know how to process the idea of what comes after death. Could be. I believe it. Number three,
I believe that
now
too.
this is scary. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you Googled Disney Frozen, you would get information about the movie and not the websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. I mean, I did see an article about this that was published in 1995. Not sure if this is true or not, but I do believe it. This is where it gets freaky. Number 4, Mike Tyson's fight, Time Traveler. This fight was in 1995. If you look closely, you can see that that could be a smartphone. In fact, it does look like a smartphone to me. There were no smartphones in 1995. This is how phones used to look like in 1995. They didn't have cameras. They barely had any color. But this thing double flashed, exactly like how an iPhone or an Android would take a picture. I don't know about time travel, but this is very interesting. I'd really like to know what this thing was. What's the creepiest conspiracy theory that you heard of?
That Mike Tyson one kind of got to me. I'm like, yeah, you saw the freaking flash going off and we saw the pictures of the phone, so how the hell did somebody have access to a phone like that? Time travel confirmed? And that Disney Frozen one got to me. That won't surprise me at all, man, if that's the reason behind it. Big corporations want to distract us from the
Let's
truth.
talk about the terrifying lore surrounding the various creatures of the horror game Iron Lung. It's important to start with the fact that Iron Lung takes place entirely underneath the surface of a blood ocean on the moon. And this blood ocean is thought to be completely empty. However, it's not empty at all, and the first creature I want to talk about is this one right here. This is the one that burst through your ship at the very end of the game, but he's actually seen much earlier. So it's implied that he follows the path of your submarine through the entire game. Next is the most iconic moment of the game when you first see this eye on your camera. It belongs to a giant whale-like creature, but how do we know that? The giant whale skeletons on the surface of the blood ocean tell us that there might be many of these creatures, and this portal into the void gives us an idea of where they might be coming from.
Oh, okay. Not a scary game.
Hey, remember this nonsense of the cheetah gator? Yeah, this was real and there was a time where it was everyone's problem. Its actual name is the Auri Pasukas, and his hood is in what is now South America and Africa. And the memes are true. He was a land op, meaning he would run his prey down. Scientists believe the Auri Pasukas would have galloped after its prey. Luckily for everything around it, it was actually a mini-me that only grew to about 3 to 5 feet long, and it probably only ate small lizards, mammals, and dinosaur hatchlings. Now, if this guy pulled up on you, it would be a very different movie. Caprosuchus saharicus was a 23-foot middle finger with teeth that looked like it belonged to a feral pig, which is actually why they were nicknamed the boar croc. And unlike crocodiles today, whose eyes are at the top of their head, the Caprosuchus' eyes were more lateral. You might not realize it, but that's very bad, because instead of just hiding in the water with just its eyes above the surface, this assault weapon with teeth had binocular vision and depth perception, meaning not only was it catching bodies on land, it was probably chasing them down too. And unlike its smaller cousin, it probably clapped dinosaurs. And if Google was right, this 23-foot monster with boar jaws would have been almost as fast as Usain Bolt, and they would have attacked you by slamming their snout into you like a sledgehammer. The only reason they're not around today is even nature knows when it's gone too far.
They had to delete him from Nation, man. It was getting too
Disturbing
OP.
story about Jeannie Wiley. The young girl seen in this photo's name is Jeannie Wiley, otherwise known as the feral child barely able to walk at 13. For her entire life, her father had abused her insanely viciously, keeping her in a makeshift straitjacket and tying her to a children's toilet in a locked room all day. And when she did anything or made any sound that he didn't like, he'd growl at her and bare his teeth like a dog. Under such brutal conditions, Wiley never learned how to walk or speak, which is actually just so inhumane. When this photo was taken of her after she was rescued and taken to a hospital,
Her life inside a series of abusive institutions was only beginning. Today, Jeannie Wiley lives in an adult foster care home somewhere in Southern California. Nobody knows about her present condition, but in 2000, somebody hired a private investigator to find her, and they described her as kind of happy.
She was kind of happy in
Do
the
you
end,
know
man.
people who stay up late and get up late are more likely to become psychopaths? Hello, and here's some creepy facts. Most laugh tracks and shows are from people in the 50s, which means you are hearing the laughter of dead people. If you wake up between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. for no apparent reason, there's a 90% chance something was staring at you. Lack of sleep will shrink your brain. 70% of your dreams contain hidden meanings. On average, people escape death about 6 times through their life without knowing it. You're always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. Your body is the weakest between 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. as this is the time most people die in their sleep. If you shiver for no reason, then it means a spirit is passing near you. Heartbreak is a real thing known as broken heart syndrome, and the symptoms are similar to a heart attack. Your phone has a very tiny camera that watches your every move. Every time you sneeze, you skip a heartbeat.
Whoa. When you sneeze, you skip a
Let's talk about a disturbing entity in Silent Hill that blurs the line between an angel and a demon. Valtiel. Valtiel's name basically means God's servant, and that's exactly what he does. Throughout the entirety of Silent Hill 3, he follows Heather Mason everywhere, just watching and waiting. But what exactly is he waiting for? Remember, Valtiel is a being that serves God, and the antagonists in Silent Hill 3 are trying to resurrect God by using Heather Mason. So every time the player dies in Silent Hill 3, Valtiel drags Heather Mason off screen and revives her. And at the end of the game, when Heather Mason gets rid of the god growing inside of her, Valtiel steps in and forces the ritual to happen anyway, which births a disfigured version of God. There are also some theories that Valtiel may be related to Pyramid Head in some way, but I'm not too sure about that after researching.
Silent Hill 3 games, man, they're based off of some dark
These are
stuff.
8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today.
Whoa.
The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
I can't believe you put a tooth in the eye. It restores your sight, man. How come more people, we haven't heard about this more?
What is the scariest game you've ever played? I get this question almost every time I post a video or stream, and even though I've probably played well over 100 horror games, it's probably something like Dead Space, Outlast, or PT, right? It's actually something you might not have heard of. The scariest game I've ever played is a game called Lost in Vivo. But what makes this game so terrifying? Lost in Vivo takes inspiration from many different horror classics and puts them into one horrifying package. Every different type of scare you can imagine is in this game. It's also one of the only horror games I've ever played that gets scarier the longer you play. If you're not someone that gets scared easily, give this one a try.
You just combined everything into one. I ain't into scary games like that, though. That ain't me. That was a creepy
This is one of the most disturbing stories in video game history. Let's talk about the story behind Resident Evil's most tragic character, Lisa Trevor.
Okay.
Our story starts before the events of Resident Evil 1. Lisa Trevor was the daughter of George and Jessica Trevor. George was a big architect in charge of building the Spencer Mansion. And when the family is invited to the mansion to celebrate after its completion, the daughter and mother are kidnapped. They're each given different strains of the progenitor virus virus that causes their body to go through horrible mutations. Eventually, the mother, Jessica Trevor, is executed after these experiments are deemed a failure. But Lisa is responding well to the virus, and they keep her there for a long time, performing experiment after experiment on her. She was barely even human anymore after all the testing, so they decided to get rid of her. But they couldn't. At this point, Lisa Trevor's regenerative abilities were so great that she was virtually invincible. She would later escape into the Arklay Mountains to live a life of despair and solitude until she met her end in Resident Evil 1.
Damn, those are even into some dark backstories to each kid.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one two-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
This girl got cut
What are they here for,
1,000
then?
pieces, and this is a massive trigger warning. On January 19th, 1996, the mutilated remains of Diao Aquing, who disappeared 9 days prior, were found across multiple locations in China. Her body had been dismembered into over 2,000 pieces. The case remains unsolved, and it's one of the most notorious crimes in Chinese history. On January 10th, 1996 in the evening, Diao and her college roommate were punished for the illegal use of an electric appliance. After a conflict with the dormitory management, she left the building and did not return. Diao was last seen alive wearing a red coat with a black lining. She was reported missing, but her family was not notified by the authorities until January 19th. The discovery of Diao's remains in the winter of January 19th was first reported by a sanitary worker. Initially, he thought it was pork, so he brought it home for food. And while preparing the meat for himself, 3 human fingers were found in it. The worker then reported the discovery to the police, and they confirmed they were human fingers. Human remains in plastic-wrapped packages were eventually discovered across 8 locations around the university, including at a stadium, entrance gate, hospital, and along roadsides. The police later confirmed that the scattered remains were of Diao's and informed her father to visit Beijing. Between January 20th and 30th, Diao's head and clothes were found. More than 2,000 human remains were recovered. Diao's head and internal organs were boiled for several days. Crucial organs including the heart, liver, and spleen were never found. The forensics team was only able to identify the remains as belonging to a female through the analysis of body hair and muscle tissue. Relatives of Diao were able to identify her through a mole on her right cheek. A senior officer involved in the case described the killing as really cruel, which in my opinion is a nice way to put it. The officer also added that the pieces of flesh were dissected with high precision, only achieved by an individual with great understanding of anatomy. Police concluded that the murderer must have been a professional butcher or surgeon. Teachers and students then became the subject of investigation. 2 suspect profiles were brought up, including a single physical fit middle-aged male. However, the university department could not find any individuals that matched the characteristics of the profile. A major investigation was launched in the university and the areas around, but no major clues of the crime were found and the case failed to make any progress. In 2016, Nanjing police told the family of Diao that the case is still under investigation. Okay, so let's talk about this case for a second. If the killer was never found and he had the skill to dissect somebody into 2,000 pieces and never get caught with it, don't you think he might be a serial killer? And if he was, how many more people do you think he murdered after Diao? The dedication and skill, and honestly the obsession to cut somebody into 2,000 pieces and not get caught with it is crazy. This person could be walking around the streets of China today doing the same things to other people that he did to Diao. The thought of that is absolutely disturbing, and may Diao rest in peace.
You did not learn in school. 2 brothers who used to live in Chernobyl went back 30 years later and found their toy car sitting in the exact same spot they left it. The red circle in this picture is allegedly 6-year-old Teddy Roosevelt watching Abraham Lincoln's funeral procession going through Union Square in New York City in 1865. It's fully known that this home belonged to Teddy Roosevelt's father Cornelius, and 36 years later, Theodore Roosevelt would also become president. This is a picture from 2003 of US soldiers playing Xbox in Saddam Hussein's palace. And this is a picture of a Russian soldier burning useless Soviet banknotes for warmth back in 1995. Princess Diana would wear the same gym outfit every day to outsmart the paparazzi so that the photos would have no value, and honestly, I see a lot of celebrities doing this today, and I think she probably started it. This was a traffic jam at the Brandenburg Gate as people moved east and west after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989.
Can the mega church down the road not help with baby formula, but put on big shows like this? Santa Claus is literally flying across the arena. Somebody make it make sense.
Something is definitely going on with TikTok. And if you're like myself and many others on the app that have opened it since the holiday, you've noticed that you've been seeing old videos and your FYP seems to be all over the place. And I'm talking about videos that you've liked, commented on, and even saw months ago. There is a lot of speculation out there as to why. Let's dive in. And for number one, keep it in the back of your mind. They claim now that they've sold TikTok officially. And there are a lot of people making alleged allegations that this is all due to the fact of the individuals that they sold TikTok to. And there are also a lot of alleged videos floating around all over TikTok where people are claiming that something occurred in December that they don't want us to remember, or that something is going to occur that they don't want us to see. And the alleged allegation is that's why you're seeing the same videos over and over again on your FYP. So if you think about this and keep it in the back of your mind, one of the best ways, if you wanted to do those alleged allegations, would be to do what? Switch up the algorithm, switch up the FYP. Why do I say that? Because think about it. You're on this thing daily, and you know what you saw, you know what you like, you even know some of the videos that you favor. And then when you start seeing the same thing over and over again, it kind of puts a little block as to what's actually going on. Or this could also be the fact of them doing the changeover, and they're resetting or rebooting the algorithm altogether. So this could be, once again, like I went and said earlier in this video, they have sold TikTok. It could be the new owners just kind of switching things up. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
As he drove, the car's AI scanned his face and flashed red, warning him to wake up. He was confused because he wasn't sleeping and tried sitting up straighter to look less tired. But nothing worked until he forced his eyes to open super wide. When he let them go back to normal, the alarm rang again, going off 20 times during the trip. You see, the AI was designed to beep whenever it couldn't see the iris. But the man naturally had heavy eye folds, which are when the eyelid's skin and fat overlap near the nose, forming a smooth flap that covers part of his iris, making the AI think he was sleeping.
I need to know.
That's diabolical, man. What the hell? You need to fix that, bro. Imagine driving down the road, man, keep saying wake up, bro. How if we could have shut down this whole damn car? You know, AI, bro. It's not a perfect product. You need to fix that expeditiously, bro.
I'm the only one absolutely terrified of this animatronic. I saw the new Avatar movie the other day, which, by the way, way too many whales for me. But this animatronic is absolutely horrifying. Actual life-size animatronic of the Avatar in water, and it's like an umbilical cord situation. And this is in the queue for the Avatar ride. Look at it twitch. Look at it twitch. It's like a newborn. It's like a fetus in utero. Look, it even has a freaking umbilical cord. That's so creepy. Which, by the way, the size difference between humans and Avatar. Yeah, I hate that. But this dude is 9 feet tall, and he's laying long ways in this giant tube, like, twitching. And I just imagine being the person that has to shut out the lights at this part of the ride at nighttime. And oh my God, could you imagine being in the dark with this thing? Like, this photo in particular just heebies my jeebies something fierce. It gives off such a dark and sinister vibe. Like, I'm so scared that thing is going to break through the glass and get me. It's not Jake Sully. Otherwise, I would say he can get me. This is, like, undeniably terrifying. Am I the only one scared of this? Please let me know. Like, look, it has the little umbilical cord. Like, ugh, the twitches is the thing that freaks me out the most. Let me know how we're feeling about this thing. And did you see the new Avatar movie? How did you like it? I thought it was better than the second one, but nothing can top the first one. I love the first one.
So do y'all see that there's been an investigation launched about, get this, hunting humans, a game where elites will hunt humans, and they called them cyber safaris, but instead of it actually being hunting animals, they were hunting humans, and they would set these bases up in Italy, kind of like this movie, in a different country in the middle of nowhere, where they would set up these bases where rich people would watch and go and hunt regular human beings like you and I for fun. And in 1997, this is when this allegedly happened, which means it's probably been happening for like ever now, right? You've heard about these types of games where rich people will hunt regular people like us. But it's even weirder because this is not a new tradition. This is not a new thing. This used to happen back in the Coliseum games, where they would literally put random people like you and I in the middle of the Coliseum and have them fight with all types of crazy beasts, like lions and bears, and also other like Nephilim beings and things like that. So this is not new to humanity. Humanity has been doing weird things like this, and the elite has been controlling and operating things like this forever. This has always been going around, but y'all search it up. It's called the Cyber Safari, Italy, 1997, and they're doing an investigation, full-on launch, about how they hunted human beings. It is insane.
Should I go down that rabbit hole, bro? It's giving off like some damn Hunger Game vibes, bro. You know, people just watching other people go at it, man. And then Trump earlier this year, like, he introduced the Trump game. It's not like, obviously it's not to the extent of the Hunger Games, but it's like people from, he said, representing each country going to like a sporting event or something like that. I don't know, man. I just heard about it, but bro, that was scary, man. Just what it kind of represents of what that dark path of, if somebody turns that to something else, man.
Now, if you're anything like me, you might be wondering, what is that? Supposedly, what you're looking at is called a pocong, and it's incredibly creepy. The pocong is a ghostly figure with deep roots in Indonesian and Malaysian folklore, and it's one of the most unsettling spirits in Southeast Asian mythology. Here's the backstory. In traditional burial practices, the deceased are meant to be wrapped tightly in a white shroud or cloth that covers their entire body. That cloth is then tied off at the head and feet, and then wrapped snugly around the rest of them. But here's where things get eerie. If those ties at the head or feet aren't undone before burial, folklore says the spirit cannot leave the shroud peacefully, and that is when the Pocong appears. According to legend, the Pocong rises from its grave seeking help. It wants someone to untie the knots that bind it. And because it's wrapped so tightly with its feet bound together, it can't walk like a normal person. No, instead it hops, and that's exactly what you're seeing in that video. And it doesn't stop there, because if you let the Pocong get close enough, you'll get to see the pale, decaying face of the deceased with its empty, hollowed out eye sockets staring right back at you. There's something about the way it moves that's very unnerving, and if I saw that coming toward me and didn't immediately drop dead of a heart attack, I would probably have the same reaction as the guy in the video.
So I'm guessing it's over for David. According to multiple reports, prosecutors are finna get this man for the murder of Celeste Rivera. And it's crazy because people like us knew all along that this man did it. You got the songs, you got what he said, everything, all the videos with him cleaning shoes, like everything was sus. I don't know what took them so long to figure out that this man did it or had something to do with it. All you gotta do is put two and two together. It's common sense. His vehicle, she's cut up in his shit. Like, come on, y'all. Boo. Netflix might as well go ahead and make a goddamn movie out of this, because this shit finna be crazy. Y'all think all the shit leading up to it was crazy? Like all the videos, people trying to put pieces together and shit? It's gonna be even crazier in court. I'm trying to tell you, niggas gonna be like, they gonna go so deep into this man's life. This man literally said he liked watching gore. He liked watching people get their cut off. That's mental. This man was mental, y'all. I just gotta know leading up to it, like, what made this man do this? Y'all stay tuned.
What the hell did NASA just film on live stream, y'all? It seems like these UFO sightings are getting stranger and stranger. With 38 Atlas out there and people keep talking about it, we might actually get cooked. You know, there's a man who actually said there's a room with a portal in it, and we've been making contact with 38 Atlas and exchanging information. Bro's out here admitting to actually having press conferences and meetings with aliens. We got the mainstream media actually coming out and saying their aliens are real and we found them. They're out here admitting that Area 51 is real after years of saying it's not real. They've been telling us that aliens and UFOs were fake for years and calling us conspiracy theorists and crazy. And now they're actually admitting to it that it's real. I don't know, y'all. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this.
Days of YouTubers not being considered real journalists are long gone, because what's just happened today in the Minnesota fraud scandal is wild. So earlier this month, as reported by the Associated Press, federal prosecutors said that half of the $18 billion in federal funds that was given to 14 different Minnesota-run programs, we're talking disability care, addiction treatment centers, food for the underprivileged, childcare, etc. They believe that half of that may have been stolen. They said
the magnitude of the fraud in Minnesota cannot be overstated. Staggering amounts of money could have been lost.
But for the American taxpayers, those were just words. That is until a 23-year-old YouTuber, Nick Shirley, posted a video that for millions of people suddenly made it feel real. Nick went to multiple daycare centers in the region which he claimed had taken millions in state funding to look after hundreds of children. But when he entered, they were deserted. No children were found. Now, not only did this post go instantly viral, it got 116 million views on X and 1.9 million views on YouTube, but it was also seen and shared by huge political figures on the right, including Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. Even the U.S. Attorney General acknowledged Nick's video on X, saying that 98 individuals, 85 of which are Somali, have been charged in this fraud investigation. But today, it's gone even further, because the DHS is now on the ground in Minneapolis, going door to door at suspected fraud sites, even telling CNN that this was triggered in part because of Nick's video.
I just bought some chicken. What is that?
It's a nail.
What?
And I'm cutting up chicken to make some Alfredo. And you guys, this is in the chicken.
No.
I'm done. Like, I want to throw, and I have 2 packs of chicken.
Are you kidding me?
Throw it away.
What the hell was that in the chicken? Could that be what they're putting in the chicken? Because that looks like chicken breast, right? Could that be the reason why guys are growing I don't know, guys. Something to think about. Somebody else said that, right? But what was that? Could it be something that starts with the letter H? Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purpose only. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who that lady is, and maybe she put that in the chicken. Shut up! Listen. Back in the days, guys didn't have this. But ever since we started eating, you know what I mean? This started to develop. Shut up! Listen. Something to think about. This is what people are saying. I'm not saying that at all. But it makes you think, guys, how can somebody forget that that was in the chicken? You know why? Because it wasn't in the chicken. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game. I ain't got you. No what time. Shut up. But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever go to the store to buy chicken and I see something like that in the chicken, I'm going to wish I just stopped eating chicken.
Bro, what was in that chicken, man? Is that like you said, is that what makes the chicken grow so big, bro? We eating fake chicken out here, man. It's not gonna be a shock or surprise, bro. But that's freaking crazy to wrap my head around, man. She was cutting up the chicken. She just found that. At that point, bro, throw it all away, man. Going into 2036, bro, we about to become vegans.
And John Stewart Reed, he does what is called music medicine. No, it's actually pretty cool. His father was a scientist. They were allowed access to the King's Chamber in the Pyramid of Giza.
Wow.
And you know the big box that's in there?
Sarcophagus.
Ooh. What they did was they put the that frequency reader where you put a certain frequency and it makes a pattern.
Yeah.
They're reading the frequencies from the King's Chamber and they put it in the sarcophagus. And what it did was it formed different hieroglyphics.
Weird.
But he said something very strange happened. So years prior to that, he got in like a car accident, broke his back, and had to have surgery. And so he lived with like chronic back pain. And he said after they did this experiment with the frequencies in the King's Chamber, his back never hurt again.
Oh my gosh.
And so he started studying it from the 80s. And basically what he does, it's called music medicine. They take people with like diseases and chronic pain, and they play certain frequencies. And he says their blood gets pumped full of more oxygen just from these frequencies.
Wow.
And it allows the healing process to happen quicker.
Jake Paul Curse might be alive and well because Anthony Joshua just got into a 2-car accident in Nigeria. So reports are saying that Anthony Joshua was visiting Nigeria and he got into a car crash that could have ended his life. Matter of fact, look at this shit. This shit is crazy because AJ could have lost his life in Nigeria. Look at that. They're actually pulling him out the car. Yeah. So they're saying that the car that AJ was in collided head on with another car. And get this, 2 people that was involved with that car accident lost their lives. You heard what I just said? They was on a Lagos Expressway and his car collided with a truck. 2 people were dead. Y'all know AJ just finished beating Jake Paul ass. And now this. That's an accident that could have been career ending. That's an accident that could have been life ending. I told you that 2 people lost their lives. Let's hope AJ is alright. Let's hope he comes back in one piece. I'm out.
Rest in peace, FaZe Clan. After all the members have quit this Christmas. For those of you that don't know, this is Banks, one of the founding members of FaZe Clan. He was asked to leave 5 months ago over a crypto controversy that left the rest of the members feeling some sort of way. He left willingly because he didn't want to bring down the rest of the members. But now, only 5 months later, the rest of the members have posted to Twitter that they are all leaving. Banks put out a statement saying he has nothing to do with this, but he still wishes everybody the best. As you can see, one by one, these guys posted online onto Twitter. So apparently the reason that everybody's leaving is because of GameSquare. GameSquare took control after Banks stepped down. And a place that was once a place of freedom, community, lifestyle, has completely changed into something corporate. Since the shift to GameSquare, things have felt more corporate, and some have even come out to say, including Aiden Ross, that there could be a 20% that needs to be given to GameSquare of each member's royalties and earnings. This is primarily, alongside the fact they don't like the new shift in management, is the reason why everyone's leaving FaZe Clan.
Man, bro. FaZe Clan, man. The fact that it's coming to an end, bro. They all left. Jason Wayne, Lacey, Rage, Silky, Adapt, Kason, freaking Rug left. Who else? Swag. It's just like, bro, it's all coming to an end, man. We know FaceCam. I've been watching some videos, bro. Coming up on, I was watching the Clubhouse era on YouTube. I think that's when I was really first introduced to the FaceCam, bro. That's crazy, man. They all left, man, over that. They said because GameSquare took over, they wanted that 20%. I guess they said that ain't about to happen, so they all just left, bro. The fact that Rug left too, man. Bro, these freaking big groups, bro, they become big. They get all this money, then they go corporate. Then the corporate side, they said came in, just took over the company. So messed up, bro. That's why you're talking about, Agent from AMP said they never going down that route. They keep holding on to their share, bro. They control AMP. They do whatever they want, bro. Total ownership. Way to go.
Kirk and Nicki Minaj? No. Bro, black culture is being held captive. I mean, Nicki Minaj. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls.
Please welcome Nicki Minaj.
There's a theory that Nicki Minaj slipped up when she was talking to Erica Kirk on stage, and she accidentally said JD Vance an assassin.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin.
Whoa.
JD Vance, our vice president.
And look what
And when I say that,
she doesn't know why she said that. Like, oh shit.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
See what I mean? And she said that, and she did it in a bag that she accidentally gave the information that people don't know. This is obviously theory. Yeah. That JD Vance might be the reason Charlie Kirk. Yo. Look, and then it just gets awkward.
You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. If the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord.
And it's just interesting too, because there was a clip of Charlie Kirk saying Nicki Minaj isn't the best role model for young girls. Yeah. And then Erica Kirk brought Nicki Minaj.
Now, what in the hell do they got going on in this pool at Russia, y'all? Y'all, I wish this was AI or CGI, but this is 100% a real video. Now, they're saying that this is a thermal pool with high mineral content, but I myself have been to a thermal pool and it did not look this green, murky, muddy, poopy, brown type of water. This thing looks like a bouillon soup, a Haitian Creole bouillon soup. I mean, look at the boy in there, huh? The dumplings, huh? Look at the boy, the dumplings in there, y'all. What kind of seasoning you think they use for this pool over here, y'all? This thing looks sinister. It looks like it's doing something to your nervous system. Me even here just watching this is doing something to my belly, man. I don't know what they got going on in Russia, but I, for one, never want to see this place in real life. Let me know what you guys think about this video. The shift is here. Y'all see it. Y'all feel it. Let's get it.
Got up and she said, call 911. I can't breathe. And then she collapsed. And at that point, I understand that the assistant manager hit her one more time. But even before that, she was trying to go back into the back office and try to delete the video of the attack.
This is so crazy. This 24-year-old clocked into her job at 7-Eleven and was murdered by her manager. This is Jessica McLaughlin. She was working her shift at 7-Eleven in Melrose Avenue in Hollywood when her manager, Valeria Pera, attacked her during an argument. This is the assistant manager, which still has not been found or arrested, by the way. It's not clear what the argument was about, but she allegedly threw a bottle at Jessica, pinned her to the ground, and then sat under her chest. There were other co-workers there while this was all going down, and they said that they tried to get Valeria off Jessica's chest, but then Valeria tried to attack them. Mind you, she was sitting on Jessica's chest for over 10 minutes, and when she finally got off, Jessica was unconscious, and the workers tried to do CPR on her, and while they were performing CPR, Valeria ran to the back and tried to delete all the surveillance footage. They called police right away, but Valeria fled on a bike and still hasn't been found. This is so sad because Jessica was declared brain brain dead at the hospital, and after almost 2 weeks, her family decided to remove her from life support. Jessica's family then said that Valeria bullied and harassed her at work for a while, but they never thought that it would ever come to this.
People who gained real-life superpowers after an accident.
Talk about it.
Jason Padgett was a party animal who hated school and got terrible grades. But one day, two men savagely robbed and attacked Jason outside of a karaoke bar, leaving him with a severe concussion. The concussion caused him to become a mathematical genius and made him learn fractal geometry, which he had never been taught before. When Derek Amato was 39 years old, he hit his head after diving into a swimming pool and was diagnosed with a concussion and 35% hearing loss. After that, Derek began to see black and white keys in his head, and out of nowhere, he began to play the piano like an expert. Ben McMahon was in a car accident in 2015 and fell into a coma for a week. When he woke up, he could speak perfect Chinese, even though he had only learned the basics as a child. Tony Ciceria was struck by lightning after making a call in a phone booth. Within a couple days, he was addicted to music, which he wasn't before. After trying the piano, he became a musical artist, composing his own music.
Damn, we got some real life superheroes, bro. On the big 2025.
A flight attendant who was on board this Delta flight is pointing fingers, accusing the airline of showing a reckless disregard for passenger safety by using an inexperienced pilot in a bombshell new lawsuit. Vanessa Miles was traveling as a passenger when the flight crash landed and burst into flames after flipping over and skidding on the tarmac. Miraculously, all 76 passengers and 4 crew members survived the horrific crash.
Wow.
Miles was left unconscious and dangling upside down by her seatbelt following the accident. Now Miles is seeking $75 million in damages, claiming the airline knowingly assigned an inexperienced and inadequately trained pilot to the flight, causing the fiery crash. The lawsuit claims the airline cut corners on safety by rushing pilots through training programs and knowingly putting passengers at risk. The unidentified captain of the plane had worked for Endeavor Air, a subsidiary of Delta, for 18 years.
Did this late?
For 18 years? So how the heck did the plane flip? It can't be from an inexperience, right, bro? He did 18 years on the job. What's going on with these planes now, man? You gotta be safe, bro, when you traveling somewhere nowadays. Be careful.
Did he actually call herself from the future? User Mystery Mint submitted a story to unexplainedmysteries.com. She said that she often experiences strange phenomenon, but this one still remains a mystery to her. She said that in high school, each classroom had a phone that could receive a call from any other room in the school, as long as that room had a telephone too. One day during lunch hour, she was inside her art classroom, waiting for a call from the office. She was growing impatient, so she picked up the phone and called the office instead. She said that the phone usually always worked, but this time she just heard static. She waited to hear the secretary, but she just heard more static, so she said hello, but still, nothing. She suddenly got embarrassed and said, "Sorry, wrong number," and hung up. She said that not even a second later, the phone rang. She thought that it was the office calling to yell at her because it sounded like a student was playing a prank on them. What she heard instead still confuses her. She picked up the phone ready to apologize, but instead, she just heard static. Before she could say anything, she heard someone say in an all too familiar voice, "Hello?" Then more static. She said that she couldn't say anything, she just froze. There was more static, and then they said, "Sorry, wrong number," and hung up. She wonders if she somehow managed to call herself from the future.
Calling ourselves from the future? I don't know. Could that just been a static mix-up? I didn't even know freaking.
This 10-year-old girl beat an alligator in a 1v1. In 2017, 10-year-old Juliana Oso was in knee-deep water at Moose Park in Orlando, Florida, when something horrific happened. Out of nowhere, a nearly 9-foot-long alligator surged from the water and latched onto her leg. The force dragged her under as the reptile tried to spin and pull her deeper. But Juliana didn't panic. She fought back. She began punching the alligator as hard as she could, but nothing worked. Then, in a terrifying moment of clarity, she remembered something she learned at Gatorland, a local wildlife park, that if you block a gator's nostrils, it can't breathe. While still trapped in the gator's jaws, Juliana shoved 2 fingers up its nose. The alligator, unable to breathe, released her. Bleeding and in pain, she ran for her life and screamed for help. Park rangers rushed her to the hospital where she was treated for puncture wounds and received 10 stitches. Miraculously, she survived with no life-threatening injuries, and the craziest part, her parents said she was calm the entire time, even joking later that she fought off an alligator and won. At just 10 years old, Juliana turned a deadly attack into a story of survival and pure courage.
She's a legend. Videophobia. I'm going to show you 5 photos. If you feel too uncomfortable to make it to the 5th photo, then you could have a videophobia. So let's go. Number 1.
I'm cool.
Feeling uncomfortable yet?
Still good.
And how about this? Nearly there. Last one.
It's like something out of the Anaconda movie.
If those photos made you feel uncomfortable, then you could have a videophobia, which is the fear of snakes. Follow now to see if you can make it through the next phobia test.
We still don't mess with snakes over here, Seekers, though. That's a no, dude.
Something has changed with La Pascualita. Like, something is very, very different with this mannequin. If you don't remember this story too well, she resides in Chihuahua, Mexico. She's been in a store shop window for over 100 years. It's believed for a long time that the mannequin would move or had like an all-knowing stare. It would come alive at night, like a lot of like folklore stuff. The more morbid legend and the more true crime-oriented legend is that she is actually sort of an embalming experiment. Possibly the former shop owner's daughter who died tragically on her wedding day over 100 years ago. People tend to fixate on the hyper-realistic details of this mannequin where they talk a lot about the hands, the realistic fingernails, they talk about veins in the face. The weird part is that she went missing for a period of time. She was removed from the window and then reappeared looking like this. It looks like La Pascualita. It does, but there's something that's very different. She looks polished or refreshed, like they repainted her. Very curious to hear what you think.
Bible
switch out
in real life. Sea of Galilee, where Jesus walked on water.
Interesting.
Synagogue, where Jesus would have gone. The Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed before he was taken. The Jordan River, where Jesus was baptized.
Water looks so clear.
Tomb of Jesus. Noah's Ark. The stone that Moses hit and water came out.
Looks like a king.
Jesus nailed to the cross on Mount Calvary.
Doja Cat came at Sydney Sweeney and now she's paying the price. So at this point, we all know that Sydney Sweeney had a very controversial American Eagle ad. Well, Doja Cat decided to parody this ad and sort of come at Sydney Sweeney with the way that she talks in this parody. And it ended up backfiring, and now Doja Cat is getting canceled. So according to people online, Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is based on an ideology that a certain German man would love. Put more simply, people are saying it is an arsist ad. Well, if you don't know, Doja Cat has a very well-documented arsist past that is a lot worse than anything Sydney Sweeney has done. So because of this dig that Doja Cat took at Sydney Sweeney, this arsist past is being brought back up, and now everyone canceling Sydney has switched their targets from Sydney to Doja. Basically, everyone's saying that Doja Cat has absolutely no room to speak out against Sydney when she's done significantly worse. People have done things like repost old screenshots, old videos, old pictures of Doja, and there's even people making whole video essays on Doja, going over every single thing that she has done in her past that would be considered arsist.
People who gained real life.
Man, I need you guys to stand below on the Sydney Sweeney jeans, I guess, controversy. I don't know, man. People going back and forth. I'm just sitting back and observing, man. I'm that mean, bro. Learn to sit back and observe. Not everything needs a reaction.
Superpowers after an accident. In 1971, Edwin Robinson was in a severe car crash that made him completely blind and partially deaf. 9 years later, he ventured outside his home to rescue his pet chicken from the rain when he was suddenly struck by lightning. But due to the high voltage blast from the lightning strike, he miraculously could see and hear perfectly fine again. During Adam Rayner's early life, he suffered from dwarfism, and at his tallest, he came in at 4.5 feet. But at the age of 21, he developed a tumor on his pituitary gland, which which led him to grow to a staggering 7 feet 8 inches within a few years. This made him the only human to ever be classified as both a dwarf and a giant in the same lifetime. Rory Curtis got into a car accident that was so severe he fell into a coma for several days. Thankfully, he came out of it, and when he woke up, he could magically speak perfect French, even though he had only taken a few French lessons 12 years before the accident.
A 70-year-old woman's life was taken by an elephant, and once it was time for her funeral, it came back. 70-year-old Maya Murmu lived in a small village in India. She lived a simple life. She would help her family with chores and would collect water from the village well every morning. On June 22nd of 2022, Maya went to fetch water like she always did. But that morning, a wild elephant believed to have wandered from a nearby sanctuary charged at her. It trampled Maya and she died instantly from her injuries. Once the village heard about this, they were heartbroken, shocked, and mourning her loss. Later that night, her family and neighbors gathered for a traditional funeral. As the ceremony was beginning, the same elephant returned. It stormed the gathering and once again attacked Maya's lifeless body. The elephant trampled Maya's body again and then fled into the forest. Nobody knows why that same elephant returned, but many believe that elephants don't forget. They have deep memories and sometimes emotional responses. To this day, no one in that village knows why that same elephant attacked twice or if Maya was just in the wrong place, wrong time.
What did Maya do? For elephant to spin the block on her, bro? Yeah, that did something, man. And I heard that elephants have like excellent memory.
He turned plastic waste into gasoline and now he's missing. So this guy, Julian Brown, found a way to turn plastic into usable gasoline for vehicles. Well, now Julian has gone missing under mysterious circumstances. And he actually left us some hints that something might happen to him in his previous videos. You see, in one of these videos, he opened the video by saying he's not going to live long. And then he later in the video goes on to mention how threats won't derail him from what he's trying to do. Julian also made a video where he said that there was odd stuff going on and he said that he was, quote, under attack. Now, if you put two and two together, it kind of seems like Julian may have been threatened for what he's doing. I mean, there is a meme that whenever someone's about to disrupt a big industry, such as the oil or medical industry, they end up mysteriously going missing. Now, Julian's fans think that something very sinister happened to him, so they're trying to bring as much attention to this as they possibly can. For all we know right now, Julian could just simply be on vacation, as it hasn't been too terribly long since he posted last. But like I said, his fans seem to think otherwise.
Bullies called this kid a monkey, but what the internet did when they heard his story will restore your faith in humanity. This 21-year-old boy is named Zanzaman Eli, and his whole life he has been bullied for the way he looks. Zanzaman has a medical issue that makes his head smaller than the rest of his body, and people in his village bully him and call him a monkey because he eats grass, climbs trees, and just lives an unusual lifestyle. He was bullied and beaten by all the people in the village because he was seen as an animal and not a human being. And the more he was bullied and pushed around, the more he feared people. It caused him to run away from home every single day and into the jungle, which made his family extremely worried because there are dangerous animals in the jungle. But after Zanzaman's story went viral, a YouTuber named Afromax started a GoFundMe for the family, which raised a ton of money. $6,000 to be specific. Afromax gave his mom all of the money and they actually bought a brand new home to give Zanzaman a better life. People who are one in a million. This girl's name is Zhang Rufang, and she is over 100 years old. But a few years ago, something strange happened. She started growing a horn on her head. At first, it started off small, but now it's grown up to 6 centimeters in length. But the craziest part is, she's actually starting to grow a second horn on the other side. And doctors have offered to remove it from her head, but she refuses. Before I show you the craziest one, I just found a way you can find your celebrity lookalike, and apparently I look like Mr. Beast. If you want to know who your celebrity lookalike is, just press this link in the comments. Next up is Nam Yosoy, and he has perfect night vision. And the strange part about this is both his parents have brown eyes, but he has blue eyes. When everyone else sees darkness, he sees perfectly in the middle of the night.
I mean, a big part of his fortune has to be gone by now, and now he has all these civil lawsuits. Will there be anything left?
It's my understanding and it's my assumption that Mr. Combs has plenty of money, plenty of cash, and plenty of assets to pay his lawyers and to pay out any judgment that will potentially be brought against him. That's my understanding, and that's my hope as we pursue these cases. Certainly, defending a criminal case with, I think he had 2 rows of defense attorneys. I know that is not cheap. We have certainly had circumstances where we have won judgments against, those who allege that they're millionaires, billionaires, but refuse to sort of cooperate with the collection process. And we then have to pursue those judgments. Unfortunately, I would say it's one of the flaws in the American judicial system that while paying judgments is not optional, it's mandatory. You still have to sometimes go and chase those judgments. But again, we are moving forward under the assumption that if there is a judgment against Mr. Combs, that we will be able to collect on it and we will pursue collection on it.
Videos that
Isn't he a billionaire?
have a disturbing backstory. This cheesy dating show from the 1970s shows Rodney Alcala winning a date with the female contestant. Rodney was believed to have killed up to 130 women and appeared on the dating show during his killing spree. Luckily for the female contestant, she didn't go on a date with Rodney as she felt he gave off a creepy vibe. This video shows Chris Watts pleading for the return of his missing pregnant wife and 2 young daughters. At the time of this interview, he had already killed his pregnant wife and 2 daughters and put their bodies in oil tanks. And at the end of the interview, he has asked this question.
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here.
The woman you are looking at is going to do something that's going to shock the world. This is Amy Carlson, or also known as Mother God. Amy was a regular suburban mom who worked at McDonald's, loved singing, and lived a pretty normal life. But something changed around 2006 when she became deeply obsessed with conspiracy theories and had this divine intervention that she was sent from God. She began claiming she was an eternal sent to save humanity from all of its weaknesses. Some of her wild claims were she has lived 534 past lives, including being Jesus himself, Cleopatra, and even Marilyn Monroe. Over time, she built a cult-like following and created a group amongst themselves called Love Has Won. The outside world, this looked like a spiritual community meant to promote positivity, but inside was much, much darker. They treated her like a god, and she even created these strict rules such as no negativity, no talking back, and you must be loyal to her at all time. If the group members broke any of these rules, she would make them starve. In April of 2021, police were called to a remote house in Colorado, and the scene looked like something out of a horror movie. Her body was found in a sleeping bag covered in Christmas lights surrounded by essential oils and glitter in what looked like a makeshift shrine. Her skin had a grayish purple tint to it and her eyeballs were missing. The worst part is the followers were inside of the home and some even sleeping within inches of her corpse. One of the followers even had a child there and none of them were panicking because Amy had just ascended and she would return. 7 of the members were arrested, but all charges were eventually dropped. But to this day, some of her followers still continue to post online claiming that Amy will return. Make sure to like and follow for more videos tomorrow.
3 conspiracy theories about presidents. Number 3, George W. Bush and 9/11s. One of the most controversial and widely discussed conspiracy theories concerning American presidents involves George W. Bush and the attacks of September 11th, 2001. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the Bush administration had prior knowledge of the attacks, or worse, that they orchestrated them. Although these claims have been widely debunked by various investigations, they remain a topic of debate and speculation for many. Number 2, assassination of Zachary Taylor. Zachary Taylor, the 12th President of the United States, died suddenly in 1850 after just 16 months in office. While his death was attributed to natural causes, some believe he was poisoned because of his anti-slavery views. In the 1990s, his remains were exhumed and tested to confirm or debunk this theory, but no signs of poisoning were found. Number 1, Thomas Jefferson and the cold. A lesser-known conspiracy theory suggests that Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers and the 3rd President of the United States, concealed a secret illness, often described as a chronic cold. Some believe that this illness might have influenced his decisions and policies. However, this theory lacks solid evidence and is generally viewed as speculation.
What do you think about those theory seekers? That cool one with Thomas Jefferson got my mind thinking and turning.
9 things that have happened since Diddy was arrested. Leonardo DiCaprio left the country after photos and videos were released of him at Diddy parties. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have also left the country after photos and videos of Ashton surfaced at Diddy parties. Michael Jackson's death case has been reopened. Whitney Houston's death case has also been reopened. Beyonce lost 5 million followers and is being investigated.
I don't know cap on that
Payne
one.
tragically passed away. Netflix is already making a documentary about Diddy. Kardashians are under investigation. A $50 million bail has been denied and Diddy is in isolation. How do you think all of this will play out, and who else should be investigated in this case?
3 animals
seen how it played out.
We'll likely never know again. Number 3. The Steller's sea cow, a majestic marine mammal of immense size, once inhabited the serene coasts of the North Pacific. Just 27 years after its discovery in 1741, it was hunted to extinction, showcasing the vulnerability of the ecosystem and the devastating impact of human intervention. The swift disappearance of the Steller's sea cow offered little chance for in-depth study. Hence, it haunts marine life history records as a ghostly reminder of our past. Number 2. The great Aokai, known as the northern penguin, was once a dominant figure in the North Atlantic, notable for its large size and inability to fly. This bird met an untimely end in the mid-19th century, hunted to extinction. It now stands as a powerful and enigmatic symbol of the devastation caused by human intervention, primarily through overhunting and inadequate conservation efforts, raising questions about our interactions with the natural world.
We're destroying it, man.
Number 1. The thylacine, also called the Tasmanian tiger, was an iconic species and the largest carnivorous marsupial of modern times. Native to the remote corners of Tasmania, Australia, and New Guinea, this captivating creature was officially declared extinct in the 20th century. Today, it exists only in photographs and tales, a chilling reminder of our planet's lost biodiversity and the irreversible loss we experience when a species is lost.
Let's see if you have nyctophobia. I'm going to show you 5 photos. Try your best to make it through all 5. Let's start the test. How does this dark hole make you feel?
I'm fine.
How about walking home at night alone? Walking down this hallway with no flashlight? Looking out of the window and seeing this?
What is that?
Or looking out at night to see this figure? So how did you do? Did you make it through all 5? If not, then you could have nyctophobia, which is the fear of the night or darkness. Let me know if you have nyctophobia in the comments below. And remember to hit the plus sign and follow me to see if you can make it through the next phobia test.
I got nyctophobia. I'm not scared of the dark. I'm scared of what's in the dark.
7 people in this world that hold physical keys to the security of the internet. It's not like they control the internet, but like if one of them were to mess up, they could very well make very core parts of the internet just disappear. Less than 60% of the internet's traffic is human. Over 40% are bots, and 30% of that 40% are malicious and actively trying to go after you and your data. The internet created brand new reasonings for all sorts of things, but especially divorce. Like in 2011, became the year that over 1/3 of divorce filings mentioned the word Facebook. The internet and all of the electrons that are holding the data weigh less than a grain of sand. And it's actually losing weight, it's getting skinnier, because in 2000 it weighed about the same mass of a strawberry. What does Wi-Fi stand for? Does anybody actually know before I say it?
Wireless internet?
It's a trick question. Wi-Fi doesn't actually stand for anything. They just called it that. The reason Facebook is just so blue is because Mark Zuckerberg is red-green colorblind.
She took her first bite of meat and suddenly craved human flesh. This is Raw, a shocking French horror movie about a girl named Justine who is a lifelong vegetarian and starts veterinary school. During a brutal hazing ritual, she is forced to eat raw rabbit liver for the very first time. At first, she gets violently sick, but then the cravings start. She can't stop thinking about meat, and soon, animal meat isn't enough. Her body begins to change, she scratches at her skin, and her hunger only grows. Everything spirals out of control when she accidentally tastes human flesh and realizes she likes it. At that moment, her cravings start to become uncontrollable and the people around her notice that something is very wrong. This movie is bloody, disturbing, and unforgettable. Raw will leave you queasy and questioning your own appetite.
Prison cells in different countries. In Mexico, the prison cell.
Why is she striking a pose?
In China, the prison cell.
Some bunk beds?
In Russia, the prison cell. In Japan, the prison cell. In
Got
the
a
United
TV?
States, the prison cell. In Norway, the prison cell.
Got a view of outside?
In Brazil, the prison cell.
Bryan Kohberger, who murdered 4 University of Idaho students, will be put on trial in July. Let's talk about where he is now and all the events that happened leading up to the trial. Right off the bat, this case was really weird. He murdered 4 people inside of a campus rental in Moscow, Idaho. There were 2 others that were home that didn't even hear these 4 people getting murdered by him and getting stabbed to death. Those 2 were unarmed and they were ruled out as suspects. And everybody thought that was ridiculous when it first happened. Everyone thought it was those 2. He was eventually caught, but the weird thing about him, he had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. The master's degree was in criminal justice. I know, very ironic here. Now, at the time of the murders, he was getting his PhD in criminology. People described him as quiet, but very intelligent and curious. However, many people noted he had a very anti-woman stance. He even got a warning from a bar about not talking to the women and not coming back because he was creeping everyone out. Before the murders happened in the house, he found a few of the girls on Instagram and messaged a couple of them with no response back. They didn't follow him back. This was just a couple weeks before the murder, so was he stalking them? There were just a few pieces of information that they had on him. One was that he had a white car. One other thing that was very important at the crime scene was a knife sheath. They found his DNA inside of that. He got pulled over twice after committing the murders. He was on a road trip with his dad. His dad obviously didn't know about the murders either. He was let go with verbal warnings both times that he got pulled over. Now obviously with the DNA, the evidence, and everything matching up, they decided to go after him for the 3rd time. Now he's claiming he has an alibi on the night of the murders, that he went hiking to see the stars, but they're going to use his cell phone data to try to see if that lines up and if he's telling the truth. But with his DNA being in the knife sheath at the scene of the crime, I doubt that. He's currently staying in a local jail 300 miles away from where the murders were committed. He will stand trial in July, like I said. What are your opinions on this case? Anything stick out to you or weird you out about this case? Let me know. I think one of the stranger things about this case was that he was narrating that everything was going to be okay to himself without speaking to anyone. I feel like at that point the pressure was starting to get to him. He knew he was about to get cooked. We'll see what happens in July though.
You saw that happen. He knew he's about to get cooked. It's over for him.
Do you guys remember this woman, Taylor Schabusiness? She just spoke with Law and Crime from prison, sharing the horrific graphic details of her crime. As a reminder, in 2022, Taylor Schabusiness murdered her partner, Shad Therion, during a, quote, drug-fueled sex rampage. She then dismembered his body and put his severed head in his mom's basement for her to discover. The discovery was made on February 23, 2022, and shortly after, Taylor Schabusiness was arrested and charged with Shad's murder. She initially pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, but in 2023, she was deemed to have been sane when she committed the murder. Schabusiness was ultimately convicted of first-degree intentional homicide and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now this week, 2 years after her sentencing, Schabusiness spoke with Law and Crime in a phone call from prison. And in the call, she detailed what happened the night of Shad's murder, including what led up to the attack. And just a warning, this is graphic. I'm not including too much of the graphic content, but it is rough. This is an exact transcript of what Schabusiness said to Law and Crime. She said, "I went to my ex, who was a Satan disciple. We all Latin kings, so we beef and we don't F with SDs. She said she gave him money for drugs and he pocketed the cash. She said that Shad wanted to have intercourse before she left, so they went into the basement, and that's when he pulled out 2 chains, according to her. Then Shad told him that he didn't have her money. So she said, I took a chain and put it around his neck and asked him again, where my money at? Then she said he pocketed the money that I was supposed to have, so I went out and took his out with that. And then she said this, and I'm not even gonna read it. You can read it. Shabizna said that Shad turned purple, but his heart was still beating, so she grabbed a knife from the kitchen upstairs, and that's when she committed that second part. She said she then dismembered his body, cleaned up the crime scene, and loaded some of the body parts into her trunk. She planned to get rid of the body, but was arrested before she could do so. In the phone call, Shabizna also told Law and Crime that she is trying to appeal her conviction and get out of prison, but I don't think this phone call is going to help with those appeals. The fact that somebody could do this and then detail it so anecdotally is terrifying.
Got some Disney secrets?
Disney secrets that you didn't know. If you look close, you can see that most scenes from different Disney movies are actually very similar. And that's because drawings were actually made by hand, and the animators only make a few changes to make a new scene. And since Walt Disney wanted to spend most of his time at Disneyland, he actually built a secret apartment on the second floor of the fire station, which is located on the famous avenue that leads you to the park's Central Plaza. And the name of the wizard in Fantasia is actually Yenzin, which is actually the word Disney in reverse. And Blue from Monsters, Inc.'s real name is actually Mary, and that's because the person who plays her is called Mary Gibbs.
Scary facts that will make your skin crawl. 80.6. Phobias are based on how we died in our past life. Maybe that's why we're afraid to do things we never tried, because it's how we died. Experts said that dark areas such as abandoned houses and vacant rooms are the possible places where you can feel the presence of ghosts. So if you're alone right now while reading this post, there is a chance that someone is watching you. If you're awake at night without a reason, then it means that you are awake in someone else's dreams.
That phobia thing. Interesting. The first one is about finding Nemo. Did you know that Nemo actually translates to nothing or nobody in Latin? And some people think that that's just what he was. He was nothing. After the traumatic attack on his family, Marlin created a fictional son in his mind in order to cope with the loss. So finding Nemo was really just him going through the stages of grief. And that's also why he's so overprotective. And the next one gets even darker. It's about cars. Whoa. When you were watching this, you might have noticed that there are no humans anywhere. But humans had to have been there at some point to build the cars, change the motors, and all that kind of stuff. So what happened to them? The theory is that in the future, technological advancements made it possible for cars to think on their own. Which I feel like at this point is not that far of a stretch, you know what I mean? But they didn't want to be controlled by humans anymore. So they ran over all the humans one by one until they took over the world.
Websites you should...
I didn't even think about that with the Cars movie theory, man, because I remember this kid, I'd be like, what? Where the humans at? That I think about it, that theory could actually be true. Our childhood's bad. Get exposed.
Probably remember SAAI.ai. This website allows you to generate custom articles from the click of a button. Once you're on the website, there are 3 separate options. First, input what topic you want to talk about. The second one is you want to select what type of essay you're willing to write. You can choose from all of these options. Third, select how many words you want it to actually be. Then finally, you can select which language you want to do. Here's a tip. If you click the undetectable mode, it will make it look like an actual human wrote it, giving you a 0% AI score. Which means teachers or people you're sending this to will think you're the one who actually wrote it, and we can use GPT-0 to check the results of this, and as you can see, bam, here they are.
Life hack.
Good luck with this, and please don't snitch.
Morbid facts.
You know college kids gonna be using that.
In 1987, police responded to Illinois father Russell Dardine's home after he failed to report to work. There they found the dead bodies of his pregnant wife Ruby and their son, who were both victims of a brutal beating. Ruby was beaten so badly that she prematurely went into labor, and even the newborn baby was beaten to death as well. Initially, Keith was the most obvious suspect until his body was found shot dead in a nearby field with his genitals mutilated. Serial killer Tommy Lynn Sells later confessed to the murders but was never formally charged, so the case remains cold. In 1980, John Favera, the neighbor of Mafia boss John Gotti, accidentally ran over and killed the mobster's 12-year-old son Frank. Although it was ruled an accident, Favera went missing that same year and was never seen nor heard from again. Former mobster Charles Carneglia later claimed that Favera was abducted, tortured, and slowly dismembered with a chainsaw while he was still alive. His remains were then stuffed inside a barrel filled with concrete and dumped in the ocean.
Man. That's a dark case right there.
Gross habits that are actually
Good for you.
What?
You probably think burping is rude and disrespectful. Well, that's wrong. Burping actually helps release the air that's trapped inside your lungs. And believe it or not, but if you never burp, you could actually damage your digestive system. Biting your nails might seem nasty at first, but digesting bacteria that's under your nails actually improves your immune system. Studies show that kids who bite their nails are actually less prone to getting sick. Before I tell you the grossest one, I found this app where you can erase anything from your photos, and I mean literally anything. Press the link in my bio, but don't use it for bad. If you shower every day, stop right now. Showering every day could actually damage your skin and your hair. Because when you shower, you remove many useful bacteria. So the next time you skip a few showers, just know you're actually being healthy.
48-year-old.
Man, y'all been seeing that thing. I know y'all been seeing the thing with the celebrities, how they be saying how they be taking, some of them, they be saying they don't even be taking showers, or they be showering every other day or something like that. That's like, I don't know about that one, Chief. That one's kind of weird. I ain't gonna say God, it is kind of weird. Oh man, what do you guys think about that one?
David Carpenter from Iowa was recently arrested after accidentally shooting his father in the face after the two were arguing about David's stinky feet. He is now awaiting trial. Here are some recent crimes that happened in August of 2024 that caught my attention. This is 25-year-old David Fogel, who was kicked out of a strip club in Tampa, Florida for, quote, inappropriate behavior. Instead of driving home, he drove his truck into a group of people waiting outside the entrance. He injured multiple and took the life of one. He is now awaiting trial and could receive life in prison. A missing persons cold case from 1974 of 34-year-old Doris Wurst and her daughter 4-year-old Karen was recently closed after police received a call of a car located at the bottom of a canal. Inside were the remains of both Doris and Karen. One speculation as to how the two ended up at the bottom of the canal is from CBSNews.com. Your thoughts?
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 11. The girl wearing the veil is Elizabeth Smart, who was kidnapped for 9 months by the man on the far right. This photo was taken at a party the kidnapper crashed with Elizabeth, and she was forced to wear this veil at all times to keep her from being recognized in public. While this photo may seem like a bunch of astronauts hanging out at the pool and having a great time, it's actually the crew of Apollo 1. They died inside the capsule on the left, unable to escape the fire. This is Chernobyl Elephant's Foot, a massive radiation from the reactor core meltdown. If you hang around it for too long, it becomes deadly, but not nearly as much as in 1986. It's so deadly that they had to use a set of mirrors to take this photograph. This photo was just taken after LBJ became president following the assassination of John F. Kennedy. In the front, you'll see Jackie Kennedy grieving her husband's death. LBJ turned toward his lifelong friend, Texas Congressman Albert Thomas, who gave him a wink and a smile.
Why did he wink and smile?
For people trying to reduce their screen time, there just might be a solution for you. A trend has been going around where people have started using dumb phones. So basically, instead of carrying around your smartphone, people have now started using these things. So the way that it works is that these phones don't have any social media or apps, and you only have access to your contacts for minimal texting and calling. Companies such as Punked and Light Phones carry these, and they're sold starting at $300. And the entire purpose of this is to get people to stop scrolling on their phone for hours and hours. But what I find very interesting about this concept is that we as people do not have enough self-control to stop ourselves from scrolling for hours on these social media apps, that we have to go ahead and buy another phone so that we can control our addiction. I remember growing up, we had something very similar to this, but not on purpose. We just didn't have the technology that we have now. I literally had one of these as my first phone in grade 8, and I could only text and call, and I swear I had a limit of about 300 texts that I can send in 1 month. So when I went over that, the bill would be much higher and I would get in shit. These things did not have any apps or social media, so we didn't have the issues that we have now. So what do you guys think about this trend? Would you use it?
Here's the one.
I would try that trend.
This lady's phone background is the exact same as the picture on this truck. What are the chances? And the picture on the back of this RV lines up perfectly with the mountains. Now I want to know, did these two guys plan this? Because it spells out Cookie Monster. That cannot be a coincidence. And these two people are wearing opposite colored clothes and opposite color hair. Now they're definitely a perfect match. Now this one's crazy. They're wearing the same jacket, same scarf, and even have the exact same blue hair.
That's like a glitch in the Matrix, man. All those coincidences.
I'm sorry, but what did scientists just create? And how is no one talking about this? Trust me, favorite this video because this is the craziest news of the century. Scientists in Beijing just cloned and brought back dragons. But you might be wondering what I mean by brought back. Well, as it turns out, in early to mid last year, in the mountains of Taimoshan, actual dragon remains were found. Personally, I've waited a long time for this. I am a Targaryen! Using the method of carbon dating, they were approximated to be 15,000 years old. Even the scales were still visible. Now, they quickly acquired the DNA from the dragon remains and proceeded to combine it with the DNA and RNA of lizards that are alive today, such as with the Komodo dragon, with the iguana, and with the bearded dragon. Finally created an actual species of dragon. Now, this was all leaked online by one of the researchers, coming out with emails between the researchers and the government, as well as picture proof. However, this is the part you're gonna go, what? In one of the emails, it was pointed out that one of the dragons that had been combined with a Komodo dragon had developed toxic venom. A venom which we have no cure for because, you know, we created the dragon! This is literally one of the most insane things I've ever spoken about on this channel. So send this to literally anyone you know to completely waste their time. Because I'm pretty sure all of these images are AI generated to fool us into thinking dragons existed. I'm very sorry.
Was this Reddit user actually abducted by aliens? Reddit user Seeker469 said that as a kid, he was spending the night at his aunt and uncle's house, which was out in the sticks in Tennessee. He was sleeping on the couch and woke up due to a bright light coming through the kitchen window into the living room. He was facing the light, which was white and slightly flickering, for about 10 minutes. Then he turned his head as it was keeping him awake. A few more minutes passed and he turned his head back towards the light and was about to go to sleep when he saw a tall, dark figure standing in front of him. He was frozen and could not move or scream. It approached him, reached out, and began tapping on his forehead with what felt like a nail or something pointed. He said that this went on for another few minutes until he must have fallen or was put to sleep. He woke up the next morning to a quiet house. He went to the bathroom and he had a red spot on his forehead. The skin was slightly broken, but there was no blood.
That cat was legit,
As of right
man.
now, this is definitely in my top 10, absolutely top 5. It is easily one of the most uniquely effective horror movies. This movie is about a woman named Ella who is a stop-motion animator working with her mother. And when the mother becomes hospitalized, it is up to Ella to finish her mother's vision, which Ella doesn't really want to do. And with the help of this random little girl from down the hallway, Ella tries to create a film like no other. However, when the world of reality and the world of stop motion start to really bleed together, it's going to make you wonder for the entire runtime of the movie, what is real? Now, in my opinion, I absolutely loved this movie. I don't know if the director is a genius or accidentally one, because everything in this movie just somehow works, and it works without answering all of your questions. It is a very dreamlike and ethereal type movie, so from the start, you're kind of questioning about everything, which some people are going to love and some people are really not going to like. And it goes without saying, the stop motion animation in this is perfectly creepy. If you've seen any of the previous works of the director, take the weirdness and tone of that and put it into a movie. Now, as far as like what type of scares to be prepared for in this movie, it's a good mix of a lot of different things. A handful of jump scares here and there, but what it's really effective is when the purpose of the movie is just to solely creep you out. But a warning to the squeamish, there are a couple of body horror scenes that can be kind of rough. They're extraordinarily well done. Just keep that in mind towards the end. Now, stop motion has a very limited run in theaters. Hopefully, there's more showings in the future. But the good news is, stop motion will be streaming on Shudder on May 31st. If you've seen this movie, what do you guys think?
Check that out. Stop motion, man. You guys know I'm kind of into scary movies.
Right, here we go again. A time traveler from the year 2671 has warned us about these dates in 2024. So make sure to favorite this video so we can keep track of these dates and see if they were right.
You got it.
Let's hope they aren't. Let's start with January 23rd, 2024. A message is sent from an underground civilization known as the Splitting Worlds. Essentially, we go under the Earth's crust to discover a whole new world. With a new kind of human, but of course, they want war. For fuck's sake! March 7th, 2024. A mirrored Earth is found inside our solar system and is the exact opposite to Earth. Essentially, yes, it is habitable, but the gravity and physics are completely different. On top of that, plants are red and the water's purple. What? Didn't think it could get weirder? You'd be wrong. Let's talk about April 15th, where SpaceX out how to make a spaceship travel the speed of light. However, like everything, this comes with its problems. Because apparently this is when we begin to meet alien life forms, who of course want to steal the Lightspeed engine from us. Finally, we have June 29th, 10 days after my birthday. Mark your calendars. Where 197 mysterious statues appear around the world. One in every single country.
Ooh.
Apparently, we eventually find out that the statues were placed here to track and scare humanity. Mission succeeded. And they release many terrible things. Now, I did my research. I have no idea what terrible things means. Could you be more cryptic? There are literally so many more, so I think I'm going to do a part 2 tomorrow. And do you think any of these will come true? Elon!
No!
Secret safe under her floor.
'Cause they didn't.
You seriously won't believe what they found inside. One day, Joe and his daughter Rebecca were cleaning out her closet when they discovered a secret safe under the tile. They
Ooh.
tried guessing the combination hundreds of times, but they couldn't get it open. Joe even posted on social media asking if anyone knew how to open the safe. And that's when a licensed locksmith saw the serial number and got the combination from the manufacturer. But you won't believe what they found inside. The safe was filled with water, so he grabbed some gloves and pulled out a solid gold coin, and it turns out it's actually worth $180.
These are
What?
some of the strangest graves in the world. In a small village located deep into the Philippines, there's a tribe that has a specific ritual. Every member that passes away is placed in a coffin and then nailed against the side of a mountain. The idea is their souls will be closer to God in the afterlife. And there's thousands of these coffins. And George Thomas was decapitated almost 200 years ago from an accident. And at his gravesite, a statue of him actually holds his head up. It's facing towards him so he can watch over his soul.
Whoa. You know, different people have different customs, man. They wanted to be more close, I guess, to their God, so that's what they did.
Unsolved mysteries. This photo shows all the world's mysteries from the most well-known to the darkest of the dark. In this series, we're going to be going through each category until we reach tier 10, which will apparently ruin my life and change the way we all see the world. So I'm pretty terrified. If you haven't watched the previous 3 parts now, if you have, stick around. Make sure to hit that follow button because stuff is going to get crazy. Today we're going to be looking at the Russian microwaves. Now this sounds really boring and weird, but it is so messed up. Basically, the Russian government started putting up these discs which look like satellite. They don't look like they cause any harm. But they eventually admitted they were using microwave technology and radiation, almost as some kind of weapon. But why? Well, these were actually planted near an American embassy. Lots of CIA operatives were and spies. And a lot of these people got extremely ill and had to leave their jobs because of this radiation. And the theory is the Russian government were doing this on purpose, to get these spies out of the country. What do you think? Why else would they be using microwave weapons?
Another gold cake.
I ain't gonna lie, I can't. Nah, I believe that one, man. You know, man, people when they be messing with those waves of radiation, man, could truly get you sick. And he said I guess they were like U.S. agents or stuff there, and they were in Russia, so you probably know they wanted to get them out as quickly as possible, but they had to do it in a covert way. It's crazy to think we had that type of level of technology, man.
Case has been solved thanks to advanced DNA testing. Julianne Julie Williams and Laura Lolly Winans were both 24 years old when they went on a camping trip in Shenandoah National Park in Virginia in May 1996. The two had met through a group that organized outdoor adventures, so they were so excited to be going on this trip. They left on May 19th with plans to return on the 28th, and when they did not make it home, their family called the National Park Service to report them missing. Unfortunately, after an extensive search on June 1st, Julie and Lolly were found murdered at their campsite just off the Appalachian Trail. They had been bound and gagged, and their throats had been slit. But their case quickly went cold and remained that way for the past 28 years. In 2021, the FBI assigned a new team in Richmond to review the case. The team began retesting evidence and submitted it to a private lab, which was able to pull DNA from several pieces of evidence. And last week, it was announced that the FBI had identified the man responsible for killing Julie and Lolly. DNA retrieved from the evidence was entered into CODIS, and it came back as a match to convicted serial Walter Leo Jackson Sr. Jackson had a lengthy criminal history, including kidnapping and sex, and he was also known to visit the Shenandoah National Park. He was most recently sent to prison on multiple charges in 2011, and he ended up dying in prison in March 2018. So unfortunately, he will not have to face justice for what he did to Julie and Lolly. But at least now their families have answers. FBI has also said that they are continuing to investigate if Jackson can be connected to any other unsolved crimes and are asking for anybody with any information about him to come forward.
Oh.
Both Julie and Lolly loved spending time outdoors and were so excited for their camping trip when their lives were so senselessly taken. Rest in peace, Julie and Lolly.
Rest in
Want
peace,
to hear
man.
a truly eerie case? This is the bizarre disappearance of Brandon Swanson. On May 13th, 2008, Brandon Swanson had just completed his first year at a local technical college where he lived in Marshall, Minnesota. That evening, he and some friends celebrated at a home nearby in Canby. According to friends at the party, Brandon seemed fine when he left the party just after midnight. Brandon was going to make the 30-minute drive back to his parents' home in Marshall. Almost an hour later at 1:15 a.m., Brandon got his car stuck in a ditch. He first called friends for assistance, but they didn't answer, so he called his parents and told them that he was stuck. When asked, he said he wasn't injured, and Brian and Annette, his parents, drove and reached their son's mentioned location to try and find him. But strangely, when they get there, they don't find Brandon nor the car. They get back on the phone with Brandon and begin flashing their headlights. Brandon said he could see a light in the distance and said he would walk towards it. Staying on the phone with his dad during his journey, Brandon told him that he passed some fences and could overhear water flowing in the distance. Shortly after 2:30 a.m., 47 minutes into their phone call, Brandon suddenly shouted, "Oh shit," and then silence. His parents hung up and tried to call back again and again, but there was no answer. His parents continue driving around searching for their son or the car, but can't find anything. The next day, police start their search, and to add to the mystery, investigators looked at Brandon's cell phone records, and it indicated that Brandon was actually 25 miles from where he said he was, in a town called Porter. This led to the discovery of his car in a ditch nearby. In the following months, police and volunteers combed the area on foot, horseback, and all-terrain vehicles. But to this day, Brandon has never been found. Brandon's state of mind has been called into question, but both friends at the party and Brandon's parents said that he seemed fine. Mysterious. Overall, a really sad case for Brandon's family. What are your thoughts?
I'm not thinking worst fears, man. You're just off. You just wandered somewhere, man, and nobody ever hears from you again. You just jump off the face of the earth. They never found. Imagine not even getting that closure, man. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, comment down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, also, man, tell me what you guys think about this video. Did you guys believe in any of these theories that we saw today reviewing these clips? Like I said, hit that thumbs up. Follow me on my social medias. You guys can catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.